All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. If you're one of the many people who emailed me that you hadn't received your book, they're all shipped out as of this morning. Right now, I have 0 new emails, so if you sent that email, your book is coming. And if you had an international order, tracking has been sent to you in an email, so I just want to throw that out there. There were a lot of people who said they hadn't gotten a book, and some of them couldn't remember how they purchased, but I gave them the benefit of the doubt. So if you're in that group of people, the book is on the way. And it is media mail in the U.S., so it can take up to 5 to 10 business days, and it seems like around the holidays, a lot of them are taking a lot longer. But it's the only way I can afford to ship the book at the price I do. So if I charge $30 for the book, $10 extra, then I could ship it to you in 2 or 3 days. But to make the price $20, got to do the media mail. So anyhow, what I want to talk about is why I ultimately do this, because I realize I just haven't boiled it down far enough for still a lot of people, and a lot of people get perplexed by my behavior. I'm going to explain it all in this video so you can see it clearly, why I'm here, what I do, why I behave the way I do, why I say the things I do. And while I talk about this, I'm just going to keep this New York Times story about William Shakespeare being the first man to get the COVID-19 vaccine. I'm going to keep that up in the background because I think it's appropriate for everything we'll talk about. And, Johnny Cerrucci, if you're out there, I'm going to answer the question you asked about me in your recent video, and many people have asked the same question over the years. But if you guys don't know Johnny Cerrucci, he's doing great research on the Jesuits as well. He's been doing it a long time. He was on my TFR radio program. Time flies, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. I'll definitely have him back, but if he wants to come back. But again, what I'm after, you guys, is the end of authority, truly. Because I just have realized my whole life, authority is everything that's wrong with this world. All my worst, most bullshit moments are from authority. And I just know that all those moments were just total bullshit. And a lot of them had to do with school, or police, or the FBI coming to my house over this research and work I put out. The last time I spoke really plainly and clearly, the FBI came here. So, that's the risk of speaking too plainly at this day and age, and that was August 21st, 18. It was actually some months after I'd made the video. It was actually right after I started making videos again, which I didn't think was a coincidence. I think they were hoping I had quit making videos in the time they'd banned my IP, but after about 3 months I came back, and that was after I had moved. And then next thing I knew, the FBI was at my house, and I was like, oh, wow, this is progressing. But again, you guys, I'm after the end of authority. And if you don't know what authority is, it's government, it's religion. These things need to go. For all of you who are religious, who call yourselves Christians and believers in Jesus because the story was told to you, I don't care if you believe in that. If you believe in that, that's great. What I do care about are the people who believe in that and then come and dump their bullshit beliefs on me every single day because that's what I think they are. I'm not saying you should think those beliefs are bullshit, but I think they're bullshit, and I'm going to be honest about that. And I've explained very clearly why I think belief in Jesus and that God is so incompetent that his master plan is to send his child to die on a cross for man's sins. I mean, that doesn't sound like an all-powerful God. That sounds like a moron. So to me, the whole Christian premise is bullshit and ridiculous. And honestly, not that helpful. Jesus taught the golden rule. I think God, when he made us, gave us the golden rule inside because we know, unless we're sociopaths, if we do the right thing, it feels right. And if we do the wrong thing, it feels wrong. I don't think you really need religion to understand this. I think anyone who goes out and helps somebody today, does something nice for a child, a homeless person, they're going to feel this thing inside them like, that was right. That's what my life's supposed to be about. They go out and they rob somebody. Maybe they got some nice stuff and maybe they're eating. But unless they're a sociopath, they probably feel like, man, I hope this person wasn't that nice that I just stole all this shit from. Some people steal because it's the only way they can survive. Some people steal because they're just greedy and probably more sociopathic. And anyway, I'm going to bring all this together. I got so much to say. But I want you to see how all this bullshit comes together to fuck up the whole world. Religion and government. And why I want to end it. And why everyone should want to end it. And I'm here showing you every day how all this stuff is contrived bullshit by a code and who's responsible. And some of you are still getting confused. You're like, Well, I don't get why you're not with Jesus. I don't get why you are. Do you understand that's not his real name, first of all? The only reason you call him that is because you've been misinformed. So you're already doing something misinformed. And then who gave you this incomplete text that's been mistranslated that you believe in so much that you probably never read? Anyway, to understand why I want to end authority, it's because I realize that authority, my life, you know what? I don't want to say authority has ruined my life, because even in any situation, you can always make the most of it. When you're dealt lemons, make lemonade. That's my whole philosophy on life. But still, when I realize that there's just this force out there that's just making life way worse than it needs to be, always, every single fucking day, yeah, I have a real problem with that. And I feel bad for all the other people that just grind through it and have all these problems that they don't understand because they're too blind to see the forest for the trees, so they're popping all sorts of meds for anxiety and depression. Realize I've never taken a pharmaceutical in my life. Never once. I'm sure if I was growing up in this day and age, the doctor would have all sorts of recommendations, you know? And that's also what's sad for the children today. And the reason things are so sad for the children today is because the adults haven't done what the adults need to do. And that is overthrow evil and bullshit, which is authority. Because look at what our authority does here in this flag-waving nation. A nation of people raised by the authority who love their authority so much. Again, it's that Malcolm X quote about loving your oppressor and hating the person who's showing you that you're being oppressed. I get these kind of comments every day from Christians. People don't understand why. And realize, you guys, it's not... For those of you who think I'm here for money, I know it's definitely not good when I rant against Christianity. Last week when I did that thing that a lot of you remember, you know, praying for agreeably the wrong things. I'm trying to make a point, you guys. I don't really pray for people's death. What I do really pray for is for people to wake the fuck up and see that what I'm saying and other people like me are fucking right, and we need to be helped overthrow evil and tyranny. And anyway, the most provoking group for, because you have to understand, I do this over, I can't even talk. I've been doing this for over 7 years straight, literally every single day. You know, even when I didn't make videos, if you guys follow my website, I'm posting content there, getting stuff out on Twitter. If I didn't make a video, that doesn't mean I didn't work for the day. Follow all the other things I do. And, you know, there is such a thing called a web search. You could search my name sometimes, Zachary K. Hubbard. That's a good way to find out what social media platforms people are on. Oh, I didn't know this guy was on that. Well, maybe you should have searched his name and seen what popped up. But anyway, just so tangential. I got all flustered with the brain, too, when I just saw Joe Biden getting the injection at 3:22. By the way, that video I just uploaded, I mean, that was just first take. I don't have, like, the TV rewinder or any of that shit. I just knew. I came in from the garage, and when I opened the door, the TV was on, and I saw Joe Biden up there getting live COVID-19 vaccine. I was like, wait, have they given it to him already? And I looked at the time. I was like, oh, my God, 3:21. I said, I bet anything that needle's in his arm when it's 3:22 on the clock. Oh, my God, I couldn't believe it. I'm just recording on the video. They did it right at 3:22 p.m. I was thinking they'd just do it some seconds after. It was just perfect. It was right on the nose in terms of how by the numbers these people are, the number games. But anyway, just coming back to the whole authority thing. Okay. How did people get to be so dumb? I mean, if you have half a brain in 2020, you just realize your fellow man is just out the window fucking retarded. How did they get to be so fucking stupid? How can people still be believing the biggest liars in the world, which are the government and media? How can they still be believing them in 2020? Everyone who's been an adult ever since 2001, which is right where I started. I turned 18 in 2001. They call us adults when we turn 18. I think that has a lot to do with the Jesuits creating the world as we know it. They love that number 18. Think about how many celebrities just got the vaccine on the 18th. There's so much to say about that, but anyway, how did people get to be this dumb? How can you be so dumb? That's what I've been just asking my whole life since I was a child, because somehow I wasn't so dumb. You know, and just seeing just how dumb everybody is. And I mean, you guys, it's not an exaggeration. People are fucking retarded. I was in elementary school. I was in middle school. I was in high school. And I remember the teacher would always ask the classroom just the dumbest, most easiest question. You didn't even have to pay attention to jack shit to answer the question. You had to be fucking retarded to not know the answer. And every single grade, every single class, the same shit over and over. Everyone's hands down. No one can answer this fucking question. Is it either because everyone's just too scared and they're fucking pussy, or is it because they don't know the answer? It really didn't matter to me. It was just the phenomenon of always witnessing this, just looking around first to make sure there wasn't somebody, and then raising my hand so we could move the fuck on and answer the question. And again, you guys, what I'm about to talk about, from the time I was in elementary school up to absolutely now, well, I guess it was only true when I had report cards, but it always said the same thing from every teacher. You know, it would be some compliment, but then always the sentence, but does not respect authority. And that's because I never have. And, a lot of people, my mom, she would often call me the devil child. But for her to call me the devil child, I mean, you want to know who was behind the devil child. If anyone, it was my mother. And, but my mother, she had a thing for authority too, And that's considered kind of evil in our world, to not go with authority and listen to adults. But I knew a lot of times the adults were full of shit. And the reason a lot of times I didn't listen to the adult is because I was self-regulating. I knew what was right and wrong. I wasn't a bad kid. I didn't hurt other people. I didn't steal from other people. The only time I ever was like physically violent, you would say, is when I, had to defend myself, which wasn't very many times as a young person. Remember, two kids a grade ahead of me tried to jump me when I was in middle school. They were like 8th graders, and it was my first year in middle school, 7th grade, after the bus stop. And you know what I had to do? I had to whoop some ass, and they didn't try to jump me anymore. But anyway, the point is, and I grew up around older people, so I was tough, but authority, man, it's just, it's just wrecking people's minds. It's wrecking people's minds because it's teaching people to believe in bullshit from the beginning. Just think about this whole society. What is the biggest cultural lie that everybody teaches their child? Santa Claus. And isn't it funny that it is the same letters as Satan? And I'll give it, for the Christians out there who are watching, I'll throw you guys a bone when I get to the religion section. Because it is interesting how things like Santa are the same letters as Satan, and it's also interesting in gematria how December's 55 and Satan's 55, and so is Santa. And when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, so is God. And numerology's 55, and Fibonacci's 55, and 55 is the 10th triangular number. Been talking about that a lot with the 55 and the vaccines. But again, this world, it starts with a big lie. And the lie is attached to Christmas, the Christian holiday that doesn't make any sense, because in the Bible, Jesus' birthday is clearly in the summer, so it doesn't make any sense for it to be celebrated in the winter. And then the Christian traditions become the pagan tradition of decorating a tree, and Christmas is at the time of the winter solstice when the pagans celebrate the birth of the sun. And then here we are in English, the language spread all over the world by the same Catholic Church that promotes the Bible. And not to mention, they gave us the calendar we're on that's synced up with the story of Jesus, the sun, not to be confused with the sun in the sky. But anyway, to just look at all this and just ignore it and think it's all a coincidence, it just makes you fucking dumb. And it makes you a follower of obvious lies, which is what pretty much everyone is. And you just start to look at it. You're taught to lie to your children. The biggest lie, the most exciting time of the year for these children, all based on a lie, Santa Claus. And speaking of people being stupid, it's a true story that I was, 5 years old when I pulled the beard off Santa. I saw that Santa was a fraud, And that was the end of the belief in Santa, too, as a 5-year-old. And I think that's where people are supposed to be as a 5-year-old. I think they're supposed to have enough intelligence to see that the story of Santa is bullshit. And I think the reason more people don't is because they've truly been chemically retarded by the authority. So again, I'm building up here. I know I'm all over the place. I'm not speaking as clearly as I normally do, but just there's so many angles of bullshit coming from all over the place, from the cradle to the grave, that just everyone just believes in bullshit from the authority. And it's like the only thing that resonates with them, and it's the only thing they march along to. A bullshit religious story that makes no sense. A bullshit story about how your country was created that makes no sense. A bullshit story about the latest bullshit, whether it's how the buildings crumbled down and why you need to go to the latest war, or a new bullshit dictator rose up that everyone should be saying, well, how the hell can he be rising up out of that country where they're fucking bankrupt because they're paying for all of World War I, plus their whole country's wrecked from the World War. Again, the whole reason that bullshit just carries on and people have face diapers on right now and believe in another invisible boogeyman is because they are just so used to believing in bullshit that's invisible, that's told to be believed in from the authority. And religion is absolutely the first building block of this bullshit-filled head. The second is school and government. And then the third is news media and propaganda. And propaganda extends into sitcoms, movies, pretty much everything in culture. And this is what people's heads are full of, just fucking bullshit. And a lot of them start to see through all these layers of bullshit, but then they come back to their foundational building block of bullshit, their bullshit religion that makes no sense, where they misrepresent the name of their God. They don't even know the name of their own God, but they're so fucking confident about it. Isn't that not true? They're so fucking confident that their religion is right and all the other thousands are fucking evil. Isn't that how every Christian is almost? It's like, dude, don't you realize you're like one of a million, your bullshit religion? Why are you so confident about your bullshit? Because your parents told you? Because what, the government? Because every president claims to be a member of it? Why? Why? Because you're ultimately scared? You're afraid? You're afraid you're going to die, and because you don't believe in this bullshit, you're not going to go to magical place? You're going to go to the hellfire? So your whole belief's based on fear and not taking that chance? Trust me, I've heard Christians in their own words. You want to take that risk? I'll take the risk. Trust me. If the wonderful place is full of people like you, I sure as fuck don't want to be there. You know what I mean? God. Woo, the Ned Flanders types? No, thank you. No, thank you. And again, that's not the way I think the world works. I think the world works based on, do the right thing. Natural law. You know who's the great teacher in natural law? The most egotistical person in the whole world as well. The guy who never looks out to anyone else but him and criticizes everybody but him. That's what I can't stand about that guy. You guys know who I'm all talking about? See, I at least try to work and collaborate with other people, him included. And anyway, if you don't know who I'm talking about, don't worry about it. But there's a guy who teaches a lot about natural law. And what natural law essentially says is, if you do the right thing, if you put good energy into the world, then good things happen for the world. You put bad shit in the world, then bad shit happens for the world. It's very logical, and I think it's 100% correct. Imagine if today you go out and all you do, you're just walking 3 miles down your main drag in your town, and your mindset is, every single person I see down the street that needs help, I'm going to help them today. Whether that means they need a jump start for their car, homeless guy, I'm going to get him lunch. Somebody's got a flat tire, I'm going to help them out with their tire. You just go right down the street and you just help everybody out. What did you just do? You just brought all this positive good into the world. Now, what if instead your mentality is, I'm going to go down the street looking for the first car that looks like they got something valuable in it. I'm going to go, rip off that car. There's somebody walking down the street looking just for that. And what might happen because of that? Okay, he got the fancy handbag and who knows what else, some money in the wallet. And now what? The person comes in, their window's busted up. Their day is now ruined. They're stressed out. They're crying. Maybe they already had a bad day at work. They're pulling out because they're crying. They're not paying attention. Bam! They wreck into another car. Now another person's in a car wreck. Now they're having a bad day. They told they were on the way to the birthday of their grandson that they promised would be there right at time. And now because they're in a car accident, they're not there. The grandson's somewhere crying in the world. That's exactly how the world is. I saw that when I was a little kid. I said, man, because I just started. I was a philosopher, I guess, when I was a child. I was trying to figure out what my parents were so amazing to me. It was the same routine. My dad would pick me up at school because his work day finished before my mom's. Understand, I grew up in a working class household. Parents that literally work 7 days a week, every single week. But my dad would pick me up, and my dad would always be real cool and, just tell me about something, hear something on the radio, teach me something new. I'm a little kid, And then a lot of times he would have to leave and go start his next job. But in the time where he'd still be home and my mom would get home from work, every single time it was like a chemistry experiment. Just explosions, cussing at each other, screaming every single day. And I was like, man, my dad was just so cool. And the thing was, when my mom was by herself, she was usually pretty cool by herself. It's the way in most households, right? The dad's usually the more fun, just like the kid of the family, and the mom's usually like, the more authoritarian. It's not true in every household, but in a lot of households it's true. And it was true in my household for sure. But I was always trying to figure out how it could be. And I had older people around me too. Like when my mom's section of the family that moved out from North Dakota, the Pacific Northwest, they all had their children around my sister's age, and my sister's 12 years older than me. So I grew up with a bunch of cousins who were between like 10 and 20 years older than me. And I was always the odd young runt out. I was the little baby and getting bullied by the teenagers and tossing me around the yard like I was a football. But in a way, I look back and I'm glad that all that happened to me, because it just makes you tough, And, but I was always around older people and hearing things. So I just started to come to understand as a child. I was like, oh, the reason my parents probably get so mad is because they're stressed out from life, from working. And okay, I get the idea that we're kind of poor, because you don't realize that stuff as a kid, right? Just life is life. But yeah, it just like, because it was just so weird to me how my dad would always be so cool and chill and having a good time, but then he'd get so angry. But I mean, I understood why he was getting angry, because my mom would come through the door just yelling at him about doing some shit or what else went wrong. So anyway, I just got to witness this. And plus, we lived in a neighborhood where shit went wrong. I mean, one time there was a getaway chase, and it ended in our front yard. We had a rock on the corner, and the getaway car went around the corner, but hit the rock and flipped and like smashed through our front yard. I grew up in a crazy ass, I grew up in essentially the worst neighborhood in Northeast Portland at the time, which is funny now, 20, 30 years later. I guess it is over 30 years later. Now that neighborhood it's funny. It's, what do they call it? Gentrification. Now it's a pretty nice neighborhood, but it's amazing how things change over time. But, anyway, just from a young age. And then that was the other thing that happened to me, if you haven't heard me say this before. My first 2 years of school, even though we were a Lutheran family, my first 2 years, kindergarten and first grade, my parents, they sent me to Catholic school. And the only reason why is because they had all day care. So I could be there all day from early in the, essentially from I know I got there before school started. They were probably dropping me off at 7 a.m. and picking me up around 5, 6 p.m. each day. And it was free. So that's what you do when you're poor. Okay, there's an all day care in the area. They can work, somebody to watch me. Well, the thing about my first 2 years in Catholic school is I actually appreciated them. The teachers were very sweet and nice. They were nuns. Miss Jenny and Miss Bird, I still remember their names. And it wasn't a bad place to be. You get there, you're with kids in the morning. I mean, it was better than my house where my parents were always fighting. But the thing was, then we moved the year I went to second grade, and I went to public school that year. And I was, by the way, when we got to second grade, I was expected to, my parents were off for work before school started. So from my expectation as a child was to get up, get to school, be home from school, do my work, and also manage the chores around the house. There were things to do. But, and again, so I was raised with discipline. And by the way, my mom raised me Lutheran, but once I started to get a little bit older, I just started to realize this sounds like some more bullshit. But anyway, the point is, when I went to public school, God, I had the worst teacher, Mrs. Hanson. She was this old bitch. She was just rude and mean every day. And I just knew as a child, I was like, why is this woman working with kids? Like, Miss Jenny and Miss Bird, they loved us. This woman is just an old, rude, fucking bitch. And I still remember one of the first things she ever said to me was that I smelled bad and I needed a shower. Well, I mean, my parents kept me bathed. I took a bath every day. They didn't allow me to take a shower. They'd worry I was going to crack my head open, but I had to take a bath. I mean, I was a clean kid. So that's who this woman was, just mean and rotten. It wasn't just to me. I noticed she was just mean to everybody. And I just knew it. As a person, I was like, God. And not to mention, that year I was in a portable. I was at one of these schools that just has portables, like out in a dirt lot. It's like, oh, this is nice. You go out to your portable that smells funny. You got your bitch teacher. And I still remember being in second grade, and there was one other kid he was my other philosopher, Jesse. And he came from a different thing because his dad owned a local restaurant. So they must have, isn't that interesting too, how you get in the school and you start to realize people have different money and different resources? I guess that's how you kind of figure out you're poor too, because you're like, oh, whoa, they drive a fancy car. And wow, they go on fancy vacations. But I just remember how him and I would sit out on the blacktop and sometimes just talk about, like, who created school? Like, do we need to be here? We understood that as 7-year-olds. That's how old we were. 7. We both had the same teacher, too. And we were like, man, I wish we could figure out who created this school thing. I think there's... Because that's what the school system does. It just dumbs down kids. It takes away their own mind, their creativity, forces them in the room to learn from somebody who probably doesn't even want to be there. When I taught at Van Asselt in South Seattle, 5th grade, there was one woman who was a 5th grade teacher who really liked teaching and was there to help kids, and she was a sweet woman. And then the other 3 teachers who taught 5th grade were all older than us and all burnt out and all essentially hated what they did, but it was their job. And they'd talk shit about the kids, and can you believe this? And I just thought, God, honestly, on lunch break, sometimes I would confront them on some things, but sometimes I just also felt like, God, I wish we lived in the Wild West. I would just shoot these 3 motherfuckers right here, tell these kids they don't have to go to school anymore. Because they weren't teaching them shit anyway. And, anyway. And by the way, for saying things like this for years on the internet is also part of the reason no more school districts will hire me, and I don't care, because it's like, do I really want to go back to this corrupt system, this bullshit system that just serves rotten interests, that dumbs down people, that makes the society of retards that I'm on here talking about right now? But again, you guys, authority is what's fucking up the world. We don't need authority. We are self-regulated people. And for the people who aren't, who are sociopaths, well, there's something you do about those people. And it involves digging a ditch and covering them up afterwards. Okay? That's the way the world's supposed to be. Because most people aren't like that. That's the rare exception that you'd have to do. And I have a feeling if we didn't live in such a fucked up world, there also wouldn't be as many sociopaths. I think the reason there's so many people who are sociopathic is because they're growing up in like the most sick, disgusting, vile environment there ever was. You know, they probably don't have any parents around. And for all the people who look at me and say, like, well, Zach, you have some vile qualities, I'm not arguing with you, okay? I am a product of this world. I recognize that. I know what my shortcomings are. And for all of you who feel that I shouldn't express them or be cleaner about them or censor myself more, I do sometimes. But at the same time, I like to keep it real. And I was going to make the point that the other day when I ranted, I lost over $500 in subscribers to Patreon, and I understood why. And I didn't feel bad about it, and I wasn't mad that they left. In a way, I kind of felt better about it, because I was like, you know what? Those people, I'm grateful that they supported the work, and it is good that they did, because this work is ultimately for good, whether you think otherwise of me or not. Realize I sit here and work for the truth and benefit of humanity. I put out free resources to help people. We're not going to see eye to eye on everything, and you shouldn't see eye to eye with probably anyone else in this world on everything, because none of us are the exact same. And it's the little, things about us that make those little differences here and there. But again, when I lost $500 for ranting the other day, I thought, you know what? Good. Those people probably should not be supporting me if they're so opposed to someone who would say what I said. Because what I did say is part of how I feel. And some of those people might have unsubscribed because they're like, wow, Zach really wants to kill people. And if you really feel that way, you guys, I'm not a killer. I'm someone who helps people. When I talked about walking down the street and helping people, usually that is my mindset. If I'm walking down the street, I am looking if anybody needs help. A lot of people don't help other people. And if a homeless dude's there and he needs some money and I have some... think about that with homeless people right now, too. I bet they're getting way less money than they used to because hardly anyone has cash right now. There's so many people that will get phased out from the agendas that are being waged upon humanity, and that is really what it is about. It's about phasing out people. But just before they gave the Joe Biden shot, the last story I saw on CNN was how miles and miles of truckers are backed up in the UK because of the new COVID-19 protocols, because of the new strain discovered. And now they're talking about how a lot of these trucks aren't going to even meet their destination by Christmas, and they're going to be stranded on the roads over the holidays. They're like, yeah, there's just so many tragedies because of the virus. And the only people who are listening to shit like that and letting that be what they hear, that this is happening because of a virus, again, these people are the result of the authority that I'm saying we need to overturn. We need to do away with religion because I'm telling you guys, I know it's so offensive to you guys because so many of you believe in it so much, but this whole thing with Jesus and believing in this shit, I am telling you, it isn't doing a fucking bit of good for humanity. If all of you would just pray to God, the Creator, you'd get the exact same fucking result because Jesus isn't even his name. And understand, I do believe in God. Something had to come from something. And I don't pray very much. I've said that many times. I used to pray every day as a child. My prayers were never answered. I always prayed for my parents to get along, for there to be less shit in the neighborhood, for less problems for this person that we knew, that the world would heal, that it wouldn't be carnage every day, that we wouldn't have cars crashing through our front yard, that there wouldn't be gunshots at night. Pray for all this stuff. Nothing ever changed. Never once. And, after like 12 years, I just realized, you know what? I think this is bullshit. I don't think this is the way it works. I think this is probably what people are doing too much. Too much of this and not enough actual action. I'm not saying to stop prayer. Maybe it does work here and there. What was weird is years ago when I told them the story about, getting arrested and the neighbor for the first time. I never told you guys this because it was just such a short thing, but it was kind of weird. When I told you about my crazy-ass neighbor who I helped out, and then he came back and was part of the burglary in my house and God knows what else, so suspicious, that neighbor in hindsight. It's a lot to explain. But a bunch of you wrote in the comments, you're like, I'm praying that something will be done about that neighbor. Well, what was weird is it was like a week later that the woman he was staying with threw him out. And I almost, but the thing was, by the time I almost came back and told you guys that, she'd already brought him back. And he's still there. I just found out from my old neighbors, they called me recently and told me that she recently threw him out again and then brought him back. But, yeah, it was kind of strange. I thought, wow, all those people wrote that they were praying that something would happen about the neighbor, and then he got through it. Because he hadn't been thrown out before. But he wasn't gone for long. And some of you might listen and think well, maybe that's because, Zach, maybe that's because you didn't appreciate the prayers enough. Okay, maybe. Or it could just be that, she was another truly fucking retarded person letting this piece of shit hang around her that is a piece of shit. After he ripped off my house, she even came over and told me sometime after that she was pretty sure that that's where all of her jewelry had disappeared. Now that she sees him for what he is. And then she still brought him back. Think about that. God, she figured out that this guy had stolen all of her jewelry, and she still brought him back and still lets her... this guy must have a monster cock. Jesus. He still belongs in the dirt. Anyway, man, it's just... It's dumb people, man. Dumb people are fucking up this world. And I'm telling you, it all starts with the belief in bullshit and the tolerance to bullshit and just the usual mindset of believing bullshit without questioning it. All of this leads to where we are today. It starts with the religion, which includes more than Christianity, because I don't know, man. Christianity, come on, man. The whole premise is so dumb, isn't it? God sent his son to die on a cross for your sins? What the fuck is that? What kind of master plan is that? That makes no sense. Do you know that that's what most Muslims use as their argument to denounce Christianity? And at the same time, I don't really think anything different of Islam. To me, it's another bullshit religion to divide the world, to keep them stunted, to keep them in a certain set of belief systems. Do they even really need it? You talk to Muslim men about why they clothe their women. They say it's to keep them from, over pursuing their sexual aggressions. They'll tell you, they're like, well, if women hanging out with the boobs and the nice butt, you want to go grab. It's like, okay, so what? Because you can't control yourself? Your religion says that she needs to be all covered up? At the same time, they might argue that they have less rapes and stuff, so ultimately it's like, okay, but God, man, if people were just following the golden rule... You shouldn't go over there and grab a woman by the boobs or the ass. And, there is some women in this world that would like that, but there's a lot that really wouldn't, and you'll get slapped right across the face. But, that's the golden rule. You're not just supposed to grab people by the body parts. You just know that's not right. Again, all the answers are within us. If we are created in God's image, as it states in the Bible, which I don't know if that's true or not, but it's obvious whatever created us. And again, that's why I believe in God, you guys. I do think there's a God and there's right and wrong and there might be punishment and all that. I'm not saying that none of that exists, but I'm just saying, if you think you have to believe in some bullshit that's written in a book and you don't even know the true name of your God, I mean, come on. But anyway, whatever created us, and again, I don't buy the whole, a spark happened and then everything was created from it slowly. I mean, it's possible. Anything's possible. But it just seems you look at us as human beings. You look at us as human beings, right? We're just so complicated. I mean, look at us, just everything about us. Our organs, the way we're built, the way the mind works. We don't even really understand everything about ourselves. It seems impossible. How many times your heart pumps, just how long all this stuff works. We're like the most well-built machine ever. And I think because we're so well-built, we have all these crazy psychopaths authority that tell us to believe in everything that are just... a lot of us are seeing 2020 in 2020. We're seeing things very clearly, but really start to think back and just think about how long these agendas have been at play, how long certain people have been talking about controlling populations. I think it's just getting really aggressive this year. But, there's people that want to ruin the human machine, limit its life, dement its life, dumb down its life, make it so it's more easily controlled and exploited. That's what's going on in this world, and that's what the authority's really here for us to do, to control our thinking, to control our behavior, to control everything about us, the food that's in our body, the access to the food and water we have. And none of it's good. It's all bad. It's all bad. And for the person out there who says, well, what if you overthrow all this and it gets even worse? Then so be it, because something has to change to get to where we need to be. And it might be a period of even worse. But if the period of worse is on our terms than on their terms, that's better for humanity in the long run, and you need to think about that. Because as long as we let them control us, the authority that I'm speaking about, everyone should see what's going on in 2020. You are being told to stay in a house, to get injected with a foreign substance that was rushed out by a company that's known for killing people and settling in court for all the wrongdoing that they've done with their medicines, and a company who's never developed a vaccine before either. And Johnson & Johnson, who can't even make baby powder without harming people. And I guarantee you none of this shit's by accident. It's not like Johnson & Johnson didn't know their baby powder was harmful. It's all part of the depopulation. Anyway, you guys, I realize I'm like, listen to me today. I'm just a little disorganized. But anyway, I hope it's like a collage of things that are making sense. The shit that is going on that is destroying humanity is the authority. And you have to look around and see why more people don't see it for what it is. It starts with the religion. That said, having religious wisdom and understanding I do think is important. Not because the religions are important or what's really written in the books is important, but because the people who wrote those books use them like football coaches and playbooks, and by understanding the numbers in those books, you can see like, oh my God, this is literally what they're doing, and this must be at what point of the book we're in. The first book I ever wrote, which I never put out for sale or anything, I just put it out for free on my old blog, Revelation and the Birth of a Nation. Again, in that I talked about things like how from the vote for independence to the First Continental Congress was 666 days. I just saw, when I started to research this, I was like, oh my God, all of this just makes too much sense. They are mocking us from the spiritual text that they give us to control us, and they're doing it with the government that controls us, and they're doing it with the news that controls us. I was like, this just makes so much sense. And that's why, I don't care that you guys think I'm wrong. If you don't want to support me because you believe so much differently, then so be it. So be it. I don't think we have to believe the same, and I wouldn't be insulting towards your beliefs if I didn't have to put up with the insults of others from your religion every day. So you have to realize, if you want to carry yourself with that faith and be part of that Christian group, realize that's the group that attacks me and harasses me the most. So when I rant on occasion against Christianity, that's really who I'm ranting against. And there is a part of me that actually does feel bad about it. I always think of Jeremy White. I always think of that one person. And I think of other people like him because I realize there's other Jeremy Whites in the world. But Jeremy White's a really good human being, and I know he's a Christian, and he doesn't seem to care about my rants or the things I have to say. And I imagine that's because he's mature in his own mind, and he probably just thinks, well, that's the one thing that I don't like about Zach, but he doesn't really let it become an issue. He continues to try to help and be a supporter of the community. When I went out to Louisiana, he drove all the way from West Texas to come meet me in Louisiana. He's a Christian. And so that's why when I rant about Christianity, I always feel the most guilty about him. But still, I'm saying what I think is right. And if I'm going to be punished someday and I'm going to be, locked out of this spiritual afterlife, well, then that's my own fault. And you guys don't need to worry about it. And I don't want to hear from you guys every single day in the comments that I'm praying for your soul and that Jesus is going to reach out to you. Because you know what? I've read about 10 million comments like that. And also in the 7 years, I've been told from over 100 Christians in very specific emails. Not to mention, I also get all this Christian shit in my P.O. box now that's like, somebody sent me a Crayola drawing of me burning in hell. This is you. And I was like, what? They have their 5-year-old draw this and send it to me? And I really do think that's what it was. I was like, God, what is this? Like some Christian psychotic that has a 5-year-old that had him draw a picture of me in hell? But it's just like, I just don't want to hear about it anymore, you guys. It bothers me. It does. If there's a Jesus, and some of you guys say, well, there was a day I believed just like you, and then Jesus came to me. Okay, if that happens to me someday, I'll be the first to tell you about it. Did somebody have to pray 1,000,000 times for you for Jesus to come visit you? And I didn't even want to question people on their stories about their accounts with Jesus, because we've done these call-in shows before, and they just drive me nuts. People are saying they see Jesus in their dreams, or it's just, to me, it's God, you guys. God intervenes in our lives whether we believe in him or not. I think God looks out for his creation. Somebody could be the most hardcore atheist, devil worshiper, whatever, and, God might send them the sign like, make this change right now to save your ass. God's looking out no matter what. And that's also why I believe in God. I feel like life sends you signs and just very strange things happen that just are inexplicable, but you're like, wow, that was so profound too. A guy just emailed me the other day. He said a person crashed into him, causing a hit and run, and it was like the worst moment, and it put him in this stress, and he had a heart attack, and then he woke up in the hospital alive. And the doctor told him it was a blessing, because he said, had this heart attack not happened now, he said your clot was getting so bad it would have just been cut off and you just would have been dead. So he said, getting a heart attack's not a good thing, but had you not had this heart attack, you would have been dead in no time. That's somebody from our own community. Somebody just sent me an email to share that with me. And he said, Zach, I'm like you. I think, God is out there, and this is how God worked for me. And people say God works in mysterious ways. And the atheist will just laugh at that and be like, well, it's just lucky break. Okay, you can think about it that way, but I think a lot of younger people who are atheists too, I mean, a lot of people who aren't raised spiritually, it seems like around the college age or early 20s, a lot of people will find Jesus or religion for the first time. And it's usually because there's something happened in their life that was spiritual. And if you're raised in this society like me, the United States, I mean, the predominant religion is Christianity. When people think of spirituality and God, they think of Jesus. That's why so many of you also drive me fucking nuts, because you're always writing, Zach, I know you don't believe in God, but I'm praying for you. And it's just like so fucking maddening. It's like, do you know how insulting that is? I say in every video that I believe in God and why, and you idiots continue. And that's how I feel about you, truly. I feel like you're idiots, because it's irritating. You think because somebody doesn't believe in your 1 in a million choice of religion, which is really what it is, because there are a million different religions out there, just because you're in the most popular one, it's like you guys are girls from the 90s who are into the Backstreet Boys and think that's the greatest music ever because it's the most popular right now, So let that be. Oh, God, I feel bad for Jeremy. Forgive me, Jeremy. But to me, most Christians are girls from the 90s who think the Backstreet Boys are the greatest music there ever was. Okay? That's what I think. You guys drive me nuts. And you're so infatuated with the Backstreet Boys that no other music even counts. If anybody else likes a group, they don't even like music. You guys write your other people, I'm sorry you hate music. I'm sorry you don't believe in music. What you're saying is you don't believe in the Backstreet Boys. And again, you guys, Jeremy White's definitely not a dumb person. And I know there's other Christians in this community that are not dumb. But I do think a lot of you are dumb, and I think that's why you believe in the bullshit that you believe in. And I also think it's why you're so incompetent that you're constantly writing things, because it's just like all of you guys. You're like a hive mind. You're just like the rest of humanity that all thinks and behaves and says the exact same shit and regurgitates things. The only thing different about you guys in this community is you believe in Jesus, but think you're awake because, You see through the other lies, except for half of you are still on the Donald Trump thing as well, which is directly connected because, again, you guys are believing in so much bullshit and authority and you can't see the forest for the trees and you can't figure out a guy that was a Democrat until he's almost 70 years old and who flips over to become a Republican right at the time of the election. I mean, you can't see what just a load of bullshit that is? Oh, man. It's just, oh, my God. It's, oh, my goodness. So... it's William Shakespeare has the coronavirus vaccine in his arm. So, I mean, I almost wish this wasn't a live stream because I just say to the director, I'd say, fucking cut this. Let's do take 2. This one did not come out off the tongue right, but it's the way it came off. And it is a live stream, so it's staying the way it is. But, yeah, I'm just so sick of all things authority and all of you authority worshipers and all you who believe in authority and cast your belief in your authority on someone else. Don't you realize all of you Christians are no different than the people walking around with face diapers and who want the vaccine? You guys just believe in different forms of the authority that comes from the same cabal. You believe in the spiritual authority bullshit and you let that rule your life. These people over here, they believe more in the government and education bullshit and authority. And some of you believe in a little bit of both. I don't believe in any of it. It's fucking garbage. You know, other realizations I had as a child. I've hardly been to the doctor in my life. I've been in a doctor's office so few times. But Rich is calling in right now. Rich, happy birthday yesterday. I'll let you come back on, but I got to be real about Rich yesterday. Rich kind of annoyed me yesterday because he was supposed to come on and talk about 10 things, 10 persuasive arguments that he's been giving people on street corners for gematria, and instead it went back to how he wants people to buy the business cards and the t-shirt. And I'm like, fuck, Rich, this is all you ever call in about. The t-shirts and the business cards? Come on, I wanted to hear the persuasive ways you're waking people up on the street. That's what it was supposed to be about. So I still love Rich. He's out there pounding pavement, getting the word out. But man, if we're going to talk about 10 persuasive arguments, that's what we're talking about, not business cards. At no point did he tell me we were going to talk about business cards. It was like an hour of the business cards. I was like, fuck, we've done this, man. This is 3 years ago. Oh, man. And you guys, I love people, but at the same time, it just seems like most of the people in my life are always driving me fucking nuts. I always feel like I'm the only competent one in the room. And also, part of the reason I'm irked lately is because I tried to give a copy of my book to my sister, and she wouldn't read it, and she said, make sure you don't give it to my children as well. Oh, my God. You know, and I got to be real. I mean, just my sister married into wealth. She became a different person overnight. All the money went to her head. She married into a millionaire family. And, yeah, she just became a different person. Totally. Just everything changed about her. It was just so snooty all of a sudden. It's like, wow, hanging out with the rich snobs, and now you're all of a sudden, wow, record time, man. The rich snob virus. But, yeah, it just, you know, it just, And my sister just reminds me of everybody in the world, too, because she's so hard-headed and stubborn and thinks she's right about everything. And by the way, she's a Christian who's never read the Bible. She's never read one word in the Bible, and she's a Christian. She reminds me of almost every other Christian. And in her Lutheran church she goes to, IHSs everywhere, and I just laugh my ass off. The last time I was in there was the day I found out a car crashed through my house. That was Christmas Eve. And for all you Christians out there, and if I am wrong, if I'm the Antichrist or Judas Iscariot, as you guys always write, maybe that was the sign that should have woke me up, was when the car crashed through my house on Christmas Eve. But another part of me remembers that there was a channel in a checkerboard mask threatening me for that Christmas Eve that I didn't even know about until you guys alerted me to, and the Umbrella Man. But, yeah, I don't think that was a sign from God. I think that was a sign from the cabal, that they didn't like what I was doing. And there's been a lot of signs over the years. But to come back to my sister, man, come on. Your brother writes a book, and you won't even fucking look at it? Well, what pisses me off about her is I've been trying to persuade her to this before Prince died, and she was aware about what I said about Prince, and Prince died, and she still didn't care. And I was like, oh my God. And I feel bad because it was right after, my sister and I have been around each other since then, but we don't really, I mean, I'm nice when I'm around her. Last year I went down, I don't want to air out all my sister's shit, but you know what? You don't know who my sister is, and she doesn't have the same name as me, and no one's really going to ever figure out who she is. But the thing is after the Prince thing happened, I'd never like really said harsh words to her in my life. And there's one word that no woman likes to be called. It starts with a C, and it's 4 letters. And my sister was pissing me off so much after Prince died, because I was trying to get her to see this because she'd been calling me crazy and all this, and she'd asked my mom to have me checked into the loony bin, and I was just trying to ignore it for a while because I knew I wasn't wrong, and I realized that my sister's a sheep asleep. I mean, after 9/11, she was freaking out. They bought all these gas masks and all this safety shit. They're rich. They spent all this money on all this crazy shit in case the world was about to blow up. And she was so in fear, and she was so freaked out. And I was down in college in Arizona, and she's up in Portland where I'm from. And she was calling me and saying, Zach, you got to go out and get gas masks and all this safety stuff. And I was like, I'm not tripping, man. But, and I was right. And I knew it was a lie and bullshit. I just saw what it was. I was like, this is how this country's always at war. This is what they do. This is going to start wars. This is what this is all about. I just knew it from day one. I was already up to the authority. I already saw through the religion, the school, the government, the rigged elections. 9/11 was just one more thing to easily see through, coming straight from the authority, you know? My sister didn't see it, and she still doesn't see it. And, but the thing is, she's so hard-headed and stubborn. And after Prince died, and I was trying to explain that to her again, to show what the relevance of this work is. Because for people who don't know, we said why Prince was going to die the day Vanity died, his girlfriend, the day of the 58th Grammys. And Purple Rain's 58, and he had the song I Would Die For You on Purple Rain, and he spelled it for you and used the 21st letter, and it was 33 years earlier. And he died by the exact numbers we talked about, 67 days from Vanity, and he ended up dying on 421. I would die for you, 421, you the 21st letter. But, anyway, she would just got even like meaner and was just saying something about she was saying something back to me about how crazy I was and how I had wasted my life. And it was just like so mean, and I cut her off and I said, "You know what?" I said, "You're a fucking cunt, and you'd be fucking nothing without your husband who you married. Just because you're rich doesn't mean shit." And I said, "If he ever fucking leaves you, you'll be nothing again." And you know what's sad is since then she's been divorced, she's single, she's gotten breast cancer, she's lost part of her body. Life's dealt her a bad deck since then. And I've tried to be cool to her and I felt bad about that. But just even this latest thing, saying that she doesn't want the book and make sure her kids don't read it either. I mean, what the fuck? Her oldest kid is turning 20 in February. The next one is 18. You know, the third oldest is 16 now. And time flies, you guys, man. I remember when they were babies. I remember I was keeping the oldest one from always walking off the table because my sister put him on the table. He'd be trying to walk off the table in his diapers. But anyway, it's just like, oh my God, Jen, are you not learning anything from life? You don't see that I'm right over here? Look at you falling for all this shit, accusing your kids of having a COVID cough, just living in fear, driving everyone nuts. I can't stand you. Your mom can't stand you. Her kid who's 18 last year took a baseball bat to their house and spray painted all over the house. Oh my God. I don't even want to know what the bill was. Probably enough to buy a house. And this is all happening because of the divorce. And honestly, you know, lessons to be learned. My sister dumped her lifelong boyfriend, who was like my big brother growing up, and got married to the doctor in record time. And I as a male, you know, they got together when, you know, I was of age. I thought of him because he's 20 years older than me. He's 10 years older than my sister. But what I thought at the time was I was like, he's in his mid-30s. He's never been married. He's not bad looking. He's got money. I was like, I bet this guy's just been, he's at the age where he feels like he needs to get married. And I remember it wasn't long after they got married, I got to go out golfing with him and his buddy who was a gynecologist. For the women out there, never have a man be your gynecologist. I'll promise you that. But I got to hear these guys talk on the golf course, and I was like, oh, my sister's never heard him act like this. This is because they're frat buddies too. They'd known each other since they were at the frat together in University of Washington. But you know, I just got to hear how they talked about women and the things they used to do to women and how they used to fuck this one chick and they called her Betty Bongwater and they'd make her drink the bong water and she was like the frat slut. And I was just like, Jesus, does my sister know this is who she's married to? And what my sister learned is he's been spending all these money on escorts all these years they've been together, and that's why they're divorced now. But dude, this guy, I mean, he comes from a rich family and he makes money now. He's a doctor and he's a well-recognized doctor, but he actually burnt up his mother. He comes from a very rich family. His mother gives each of their children tens of thousands of dollars each year for a savings account. My sister found out that he had spent up almost all those accounts on escorts. So anyway, I'm just thinking my sister thinks she's so holier than thou. She married a man for his money. Years later, she's suffering. She's denying the truth. She's denying her own brother. She's fighting with her own family. My mom was trying to get her to think about the vaccine, and she put in earplugs while they were riding in the car together. It's just like, you know, you want to feel bad for your own family, right? Because they're going through all this shit, but it's like, fuck, you're not doing anything to show that you're improving as a person or getting a reality check or a wake-up call. If my mom's out there, she's going to be so pissed that I'm saying all this, but at the same time, it needs to be aired out. This is what's wrong with the fucking world. Everybody's in denial. Everybody's so about their ego, so caught up in all their own bullshit. My sister is also a huge part of the reason I hate Christianity. She's so holier than thou with her beliefs, and she's not a good person. When I was in my early 20s, I gave up a job that paid six figures. A bad week for me was $2,000. I made between $2,000 and $4,000 a week out of college working in real estate appraisals, which was a fraudulent market. And that's also what I learned as a young person. Like, God, the only thing that pays anything in this world is fucking fraud. But what I did was I realized it was so wrong, so I quit it cold turkey, and I went and worked in a group home for $10 an hour and went back to school to get my master's so I could teach because I knew I wanted to work with children. And my sister just thought it was so dumb, and she kind of like ridiculed me and was like, I think you're going to look back and regret it. And she's like, why do you even want to help those kids? Like, you know, those are poor kids from fucked up families. And I was just like, who the fuck are you? Who are we? We're poor kids from a fucked up family, you idiot. That's why it's just like you just see how people sell out. You know, that my sister said that to me. We grew up poor. My sister probably had it even worse than me at first. She had a single mom. My sister and I don't have the same dad. My mom met my dad and they got pregnant real quick and shotgun wedding and then, you know, my sister was like already, I don't know, 11, 12 years old. So, you know, she's living with my mom and my mom was making a rough go of it up until then, but I mean, I just remember when she said that to me in my early 20s, I was like, wow, those kids, like they're nothing, like they don't even matter? What, only rich people matter now? God. And now she's the one going to church. You know, she's so fucking holy. Always, and that's what she was saying to me back then too. You're going to go to hell, Zach. You're going to go to hell. I remember, here's something else I witnessed. When I lived in Seattle, they wanted to go up to the top of the Space Needle. I used to live just blocks away from the Space Needle. I was there before they put in that Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I've always had this with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation because where their headquarters is, downtown Seattle on 5th and Mercer, that used to be a nice big park. Basketball courts, skate park, cool place to go. Then they tore it all out to put in the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Terrorist organization, truly, that's what it is. And a lot of people who work there don't realize that. I mean, most of there, it's a job. They see all the nice things, you know, the pictures of the children all over, the third world children. They think they're doing great things. Part of a racket. They don't realize it. Again, it's just because America, everyone's just taught to believe in authority, just follow authority, don't question anything. And that's all I'm here to do. Just burn it all to the ground, because that's what needs to happen. It all needs to burn to the ground. Look at this fucking shit. I remember being in school having to read William Shakespeare, and I was like, what the fuck is this, man? Can I go home? This is as dumb as Christopher Columbus. None of this shit matters. What, am I supposed to go out and start picking up on the girls like this? Oh, Megan, I can't even fucking talk like this. Where art thou going? I mean, why? Who's talking like this? Isn't the point of communication to be understood? And God, don't even get me started on the Christians who think the King James Version is the most true version of the Bible. No, it's not, morons. Go learn Greek and read the New Testament in Greek. And until you do that, please just shut the fuck up, literally. God, it's so annoying. I'm sure the King James Version, the Freemason Rosicrucian King, I'm sure his version's so authentic and real. Sounds like fucking Shakespeare wrote it himself. Oh, Jesus, where art thou? Give me a break. God, it's pathetic. They're still paying tribute to this shit today with the NBA and King James and winning on the real King James's birthday. How many times have I taught you that the real King James's birthday is June 19th, 619, like 619, the 114th prime, and LeBron James equals 114 gematria because of the coronavirus season. This year, LeBron James won his finals 114 days after the real King James's birthday, whereas he won his last finals on the real King James's birthday. Let's not forget we helped a lot of you guys buy your first car. That's why I hate that my original channels were deleted back when we got comments, because I would pull up that video right now and just have a great day just scrolling the comments, saying, look at all this shit that we did for the world. Told LeBron was coming back from down 3-1 with 40-1 odds. It was in stone, winning on King James's birthday, 51 years from the last Cleveland championship, all the reasons we laid down, because we said all season the Cavs were going to win the finals, and a lot of the dick suckers came around when the Cavs were down 3-1. They also came around when the Warriors were down 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals that year, because I said the Cavs would beat the Warriors. Real King James's birthday. But the dick suckers came around both times, and the dick suckers went away quiet because the Warriors came back from down 3-1 over Kevin Durant. Then next year they got Kevin Durant. And by the way, you guys, it's not an accident that the Jets just beat the Rams. We thought that they might on Patreon this week. 1-1-3. I hope you know what that means for the NBA, which starts tomorrow. I'm pretty sure the finals are in stone. But, and again, these are the blessings of not going with authority and thinking for yourself. You actually figure out what the fuck's going on, and you're not there a prisoner of your own mind of all this bullshit. Okay. This collage of a post, I got to come back to the Johnny Cerrucci channel. I'm gonna play his little segment here, talking about how I hurt his feelings. And Johnny, if you're out there and I'm hurting your feelings again, man, you seem like an even bigger asshole than me, and I say that kind of in a complimentary way. So come on, man, have some thick skin. Shouldn't be hurting your feelings. Believe what you want to believe, Johnny. But hold on. I got to go to this video where he talks about me. I think it's like right around here. I'm going to play his clip. And you know what? I appreciate he spoke very respectfully. But I just want to let it be aired out. This is the same reason we lost a lot of people on Patreon, what he's talking about. And that's fine. I never came here for money. The reason I asked for money is to make things happen. And so far, not enough has come in to make those things happen. But with the money that has come in, that's why we're hosting things like Free to Find Truth, building the Gematria app that works offline. And soon there will be an app for Free to Find Truth. I'm hoping that's going to make more people get involved and organized and try to network, because really that's all I'm trying to do is bring people together. And some people might say, but Zach, you're the most divisive. You guys realize, if you and I live in the same village and you're a Christian, I'm never going to give you any trouble about that, and I'm going to treat you with every bit of respect if you're in the community. Unless you start coming to me and saying shit like, I'm praying for your soul because you're going to go to hell if you don't find Jesus, then we're going to have a problem. That's where it starts, okay? And that's why I rant the way I do sometimes. And I really do also think, I try not to use the word believe, because that's the word with lie in the middle, the one you need to believe in these religions. But I really do think that it is Christianity and these religions that have really fucked up humanity and got us to the point where we're so dumb and obedient and pathetic and unwilling to fight back because we're supposed to turn the other cheek and we're supposed to just pray and wait for somebody to come save us. And, you know, this world is of Satan, so it's so evil and we're just going to die here and then go to the holy heavenly place, right? That's what you all think. And maybe you're right, but what if you're wrong? And what if this place just turns into hell more and more? And the reason I think we live in hell right now, and it is of Satan, is because we're not fighting back against Satan, because we're just believing that if we just believe in bullshit and we just, you know, as Richie from Boston will tell you ever since he got called out for his scamming. I loved how when Richie, the rumor made it around that he was the scammer heard around the world, then all of a sudden he was hitting his knees for Jesus and every video was about Jesus and he found Jesus. I was like, look at this fucking guy, man. Look at how easy it is. And then his channel blows up. It's like, oh my God, the thief goes to Jesus Freak for the subs, and it works. Jesus. Oh my goodness. Anyway, here, let me play Johnny Cerrucci. He's a lot more elegant than retard from Boston, but here we go. And you know what? I need to stop. As much as I hate Richie from being a scammer and a fraud and trying to put down Gematria after it saved his own ass, and Richie knows the truth. Hey, Richie, come to Jesus and admit that at the time of the Oregon standoff, you uploaded a video about how my gematria lesson on the rigged standoff situation might have saved you from being in Fed custody. Can you do that video? What would Jesus do? Since then, since Richie's become the scammer who believes in Jesus, he always loves to shit on gematria. But anyway, hold on. Let's listen to Johnny talk about me and how I offend him the way I talk about Christianity. Because I just want to listen to this, and other people can listen to this too, and then I want to respond. But here we go. Somewhere right around here.
2005. Bittersweet.
Oh, hold on. My bad, you guys. I'm on. He's put up more videos. It must be this one. Here we go. It's this one. Hold on. Somewhere right around here.
Know that I want to try and use it to archive. I have 0 places to. Every time somebody makes a suggestion, I either have tried and it's gone nowhere, or I go there and it goes nowhere. So, real quick. Flying Monkey Tom brought my attention to this. 2 days ago, at the end of Zach's show that he did 2 days ago, and Tom was really good about this. Go to December 15th. As a matter of fact, it was on that very show that George is talking about, where he talks about the release dates of I Am Legend, etc.
I just got to say, shout out to George. I know George is always following the work and bringing it up in their discussions, which I appreciate, because I don't ever hear Johnny Cerrucci bring up anything, and there's certain points where he could interject with gematria, so even though I respect that he's doing the Jesuits, he's not doing anything to help with gematria, which is really the thing that needs to get out there. Because, again, it's the proof of how these people operate. But, and Johnny Cerrucci's the guy talking. They have this co-host, co-panel thing, and Johnny's always so rude to George, too, man. I'm just surprised George comes back. Anyway, here we go.
The 19th was the end of the show. It was only like a 20-minute show. At the end of the show, he says something to the effect that Jesus is quite the asshole to be watching all this and doing nothing.
What I said was Jesus would have to be a major asshole to just sit back and watch all this horror go on all over the world before it's time to rain the hellfire in return, right? Because doesn't the Bible just have such a nice ending? Just the world's in fucking chaos, and then Jesus finally comes back. God, where can I sign up for this religion? It just makes so much fucking sense. Hold on.
Wow. Dude, is that necessary?
Yes. And again, Johnny, there's a legion of Christian fucking morons that drive me fucking nuts every day, man. And most days I don't say anything. And a lot of times when I respond to it, I respond in a nice way. But sometimes I just want to be fucking real. And is it necessary? Listen to the way you talk to George on your own show. Oh my God. And trust me, I'm not mad at Johnny or George. I'm glad that the work they do. But whenever I watch the show, I'm like, holy fuck, why is he so mean to George? He treats George like he's, God, it's brutal.
Is that necessary? He's got a real issue. He's got a real problem. And I can't ask him about this because he has not given me any contact information.
He has my Skype. We did the Skype interview, Johnny. You came on Skype. That's the best way to contact me. Trust me. You message me on Skype. I'll see that before any email.
In which I can reliably contact him.
So I just gotta say, that's a false statement. I don't know why he's setting it up that way. I don't like that.
I have one of his professional emails that he probably has almost no visibility on. I'm sure that he gets drowned. He's got a high level of support, and that's one of the reasons why he's got a high level of support, even though he's going right to the heart of the beast.
Okay, and I just got to address that right there, because that drives me nuts. A lot of Christians leave that comment. The only reason Zach doesn't get censored, which is just a completely false fucking statement, is because he goes against Jesus. It's like, no. First of all, I've been censored from day one. Second of all, my channel's been deleted 19 times. Third of all, I've had to put up with so much shit. Trust me, it would blow your mind just for doing this all this time. And you know, if you promote Christianity, your channel blows up on YouTube. So I don't know where these Christians come from that act like if you speak against Jesus, and that's another comment they always leave. if you don't believe in Jesus, you can't be part of the truth community because Jesus is the truth. It's like, okay, did you just read your sentence? If you don't believe, you mean the word with lie in the middle? Believe, which is based on having no evidence or proof. It's not to say that all believing is bad, but most of it is. And to say that I'm not part of the truth community because I don't believe like you, well, to me, that just makes you a fucking idiot, and you definitely not part of the truth community because you don't even understand what truth is. To me, truth is something that cannot be denied. You know, it is just 100% factual. I could be wrong about my belief in Jesus. I admit that all the time. But none of you can prove to me that your beliefs are true because you believe in them. You don't have evidence or proof. You can't prove it's true. You believe it's true. And that doesn't mean it's false either. I'm not saying your beliefs are false. I just don't believe in them. And you guys want to see someone go about this same subject in a lot meaner way? Watch Young Pharaoh's recent video on what he thinks about people who believe in Jesus. See, my problem with the way he speaks is he talks like he's about 100% correct. He says that the Son is God, and you have to worship the Son. And he also makes a racially divisive argument. He says that the people of the Son are the black people and people who have more melanin in their skin. By the way, white people have melanin in their skin, different shades, you know. I'm mixed with stuff. And again, I don't know what my ancestry is because my dad doesn't even know what his dad is, but you know, some people are obviously more pale than me, plus my arm's furry, so it makes me look even darker, but all people have melanin in their skin. Well, if you're a black person out there saying white people have no melanin, that's a false statement, just for the record. Yeah, you definitely have a lot more melanin. That's why you guys have a lot less skin cancer and all that. It's absolutely true. And I'm also someone who doesn't argue. I do think that the original people were black people. To me, it makes sense. To me, it's the physical evidence. They're better naturally adapted for this world, you know? Why do you think the white pale people weren't out picking the cotton and the tobacco? You know, they would all died from skin cancer and dehydration. But, so yeah, there is an element of truth to it. But Young Pharaoh's telling people in the presentation that Jesus is absolute bullshit. It's white man bullshit. It's the devil's religion. The white people are the people of the devil. And even, I mean, just what a fucking fraud this guy is. I realized he started his channel on the 201st day of the year. I don't think that's an accident because he's been talking mad racist bullshit the whole time he's been here and getting away with it. But, you know, he at the beginning of that same video, he's like, you know I've been working with some white people lately because normally I say white people are not even human because they're mixed with fruit fly and dog DNA, which is what he says. But he's like, you know, the white people were like paying me some money to do the Donald Trump thing recently, so I did that, but now I'm done with the white people, and now I'm here to rant about how Christianity is the white man's religion, which I don't think that's true because Jesus' physical description is not that of a white person. You know, and again, I'm sure there's a whole bunch missing from the book that describes him more clearly, but from the brief details are there, it's hard to imagine he's a white guy. And, which again is just like, how can churches be full of this picture of white-haired Jesus? At least give me the picture from Revelation with the burnt bronze skin and the white hair of wool. I mean, that's the way he's described. They do use the description hair of wool. White like wool. White like wool. That's how it's described. And a lot of you think that means it doesn't have anything to do with wool, just the color of white like wool. His hair being white like wool under the Bible. See, that's the other thing I just hate about the Bible. Even the unbelievers don't know what anything means. They say, white like wool doesn't mean his hair was like wool. It just means it was white. He couldn't have possibly been black. He wasn't black. Don't say he was black, Zach. White like wool doesn't mean he was black. And the burnt bronze skin, that doesn't mean he was black either. It's like, sounds awfully black to me, especially since he came from, where did he come from? Judea, where the oldest Jew in the Old Testament is Methuselah, who was black? I don't know. I think there's a lot of reasons to believe that Jesus was probably black or mixed or definitely not the white guy with the long flowing hair. But, anyway. Come back to Johnny Cerrucci here. Let me put him back on.
He's still doing the whore's work for her.
Oh, yeah. That's where he was in his rant. He was saying that the reason my channel is allowed to grow and not like his. And Johnny, sometimes you just got to be real. Do you think, I appreciate that you're doing the Jesuits, but do you think your streams are that good or well done or going to bring attention to the point? Realize I put out way more content than you, work way harder than you, and have a lot more variety of topics I cover, and have made major predictions over and over and over and over and over and over again since the very first video I made that had been correct. For those who don't know, the very first video I made was a prediction that was correct, and once it was correct, then I came and made my second video. And that was also kind of how I decided to go on this journey. I was like, let's prove it right here. Let's just put it out on the first video. Let's say that once they release the name of the police officer in the Michael Brown killing, that his name will equal 33. And absolutely it did. Darren Wilson. And not only that, but then they did the 4259 thing. And I had done a YouTube video in 2013 on FIFA and just something they were showing that would put by the numbers, but that video got taken down right away, and then I didn't try to make a video for a long time, and then I was provoked by the Michael Brown thing, and then I really started making the video making then. But anyway, that's the reason that my channel is growing the way it has. So, people like Johnny who never get the growth, they like to make excuses for why their channels aren't growing. Maybe you got to do better. And by the way, there's a lot of channels that have 500,000 or so subscribers where all they talk about is Jesus. A Call for an Uprising had a cartoon that looked like it came straight from Comedy Central for his 30-second opening, and after launching his channel, he had over 100,000 subscribers in a month. He's a Jesus freak. But he's not a real Christian either. He's a total fraud of a Christian. He doesn't know the first thing about Christianity, and that's why he also retired from YouTube for 1 month, one day after debating me, trying to make fun of my work. His entire audience saw him for the fraud he was. He disappeared. He came back after 1 month. The first video he put out was a 2-hour documentary proving that I was a Jew from Israel, which was all based on lies and bullshit, which is the only language he knows about because all he believes in is lies and bullshit. And if you hear how pathetic his channel is these days, this strong Christian, a call for an uprising, I should go look up his video because it's almost so fucking funny. He says, it's not like I'm trying to create like an uprising. It's like, what the fuck? Your channel is called a call for an uprising. And then he says it right there. He goes, if they're not going to let me get the ad revenue, then there's just, I can't continue on doing this. So a call for an uprising, the devout Christian who doesn't know a fucking thing about Christianity. And for people who don't know, the guy's a psychopath. He uploaded a video about how he wanted to murder me and bathe in my blood. Yes, he did take that video down after about a week. But again, what kind of Christian says something like that? You want to murder somebody and bathe in their blood? And why was he so mad? Because he said he had proof that the world was run by the satanic occult because his sister was murdered in one of their satanic occult rituals. And I asked him, I said, well, if you have that kind of insight, I said, can you reveal more about how the satanic occult works? Because that's what we're trying to understand and expose. I do think the people who run the world are absolutely satanic. And that means that they choose evil. They choose their own self-interest over all other things, the people who run the world. And I don't know how anyone could disagree with that. But he made that claim many years ago that his sister was murdered by the satanic occult that run the world. And I made a video and I said, I would like to know more about that. And I said, does that mean your family's connected to the satanic occult? He got so offended. So his response was that he wanted to murder me and bathe in my blood. And I thought, man, maybe this guy really is from one of those families. He doesn't put his real name out there. He doesn't put his face out there. He has a super fancy introduction, fancier than anyone else in the truth community. And his channel just... Because, I was working my ass off when I want to say that when he just grew from 0 to 100,000 overnight, I want to say that I was like at 30,000 subscribers at the time, and it was right around the time Prince had died. And, to get to 30,000, it took so much work. It took predicting, 2 World Series, a major celebrity, and it wasn't the first day I'd circled a date and said there's going to be a celebrity dead on this date. We did that many times before we finally just nailed a celebrity. We said, Prince, it looks like he's going real soon. And, just sports, news stories, celebrity death. All that and just tons of work. I was just every free minute. I had a lot going on back then, but every free minute I had, I put into this work, and to get to 30,000 took so much work. And here's this guy who has a 30-second cartoon that it looks real fancy, and it has like fart sounds in it. A Call for an Uprising used to really be into fart sounds, if you didn't know that. His 2-hour documentary made about me is just full of fart sounds. Like he'd show like a clip of me speaking, and then he'd just cut it off and just make a bunch of fart sounds, and then Photoshop an image of a Jewish hat on my head, which was a cartoon drawing. Just a real piece of shit. He retired from YouTube because he was embarrassed for a month. Then comes back and accuses me of being Jewish and from Israel. And again, this is a Christian? and people follow him and think he's of something righteous. This is why, to me, I want to draw lines. This is, to me, why I want there to be the necessary war. I want to be on the other side of the line for a call for an uprising. And again, you guys, he is not a Christian. He doesn't know anything about Christianity. The things that come out of his mouth don't have anything to do with Christianity. Christianity's turn the other cheek. Give Caesar what's his. Believe that God sent his son to die on a cross. The golden rule is there. That's the only part of Christianity that's meaningful. But again, like I said, the golden rule, everybody just knows that. That's innate. That's internal. You feel the golden rule, unless you're a sociopath. So, and if we lived in a better world, more people would be able to practice the golden rule. We live in such a fucked up world that most people, they just have to look out for number one and fuck somebody else over because that's what their job calls for. That's just the way this world is set up. And that's why if you have a job like that, like so many people do, you really shouldn't do that job, even if it does pay the bills. You're just bringing terror into the world. That's why everyone who's a police officer and military should just stand down. These things aren't upholding anything that's right or righteous. But yeah, I get tired when Christians say comments like that. His channel grew up because he does the work of denouncing Jesus. Again, you guys, I don't even feel like I'm denouncing Jesus. I'm telling you, I could be wrong. I say this every time. I could be wrong. Believe what you want to believe. I'm telling you what I believe. Oops, I just used the word. I'm telling you what I think. I don't really believe in much. I think there is a God for the reasons I explained earlier. I think people should live by the golden rule, and I think religion's bullshit. And I also know that going against Jesus doesn't do you any favors in this truth community. Look at the demographics of the truth community. It is mostly Christian. It is mostly right-leaning. It is mostly Republican. I've known all this since I made videos here. You just read the comments of any video channel. It's obvious that's where the majority is. That's how total frauds and morons and people who have jack shit for content, it's how their channels blow up because there's so many Christians that are just easy to suck up. The majority of people trying to understand what's wrong today, the reason they are Christian is because they see a lot of the mockery is of the Bible. And because they believe in the Bible and it's their holy text and their spiritual basis, they take offense to it. I look at it a different way. I do see. It's not all just mockery, too. I mean, some of it's just it's like going by what's in the Bible. The Acts 7:6 stuff, all this 666 number of the beast shit with buying and selling. It's not really mockery. It's just fulfilling what's in the script. And again, that's the way it looks to me. It's like so many of you think prophecy's being fulfilled. This is the sign that Jesus is finally about to come. When really it's just that they gave us all this. This is their planned out story. This is the ultimate predictive programming. It's why they do the same things with their TV shows and their movies today. The first Gutenberg Bible, just all these things we talked about. Gutenberg 666. I mean, it's just obvious. It's obvious. Nothing has changed. The first printed Bible is the 666 Bible, the Gutenberg Bible. The word Gutenberg is 666. The number of the beast. The first Continental Congress to the vote for independence 666 days later. 9/11 happens in New York, another 666 word. All this shit was 666 right now. The religion that told you it would all end in destruction. Jesus said he'd be with you until the end of the age. Here we are at the end of the age of Pisces. People not understanding the knowledge or the information, misinterpreting, believing in bullshit, being made fun of. The true mockery is the Bible. The true mockery is how all of it's right in front of your face and you still can't see it. A calendar given to you by a church that's in the time, synced up literally with the time of Jesus, which was not his real name. Yeshua. Other people think it's some other things, but a lot of people understand it wasn't Jesus because there were no J's back then. It's an impossible name for him to have had. Zeus, Greeks, gods. The Greeks wrote the New Testament, the story of Jesus. The Greeks into mathematics, the first book of the Bible, Matthew. Greeks were a mathematics-based society. But, yeah, it's just, I think I said it all. I just keep talking too much. I'm talking in circles. But hold on, let's finish listening to Johnny complain about me saying the thing. Again, some people, Johnny got upset because I spoke plainly about how I really feel about Christianity. But again, you guys shouldn't get so butthurt. I always tell you I could be wrong. What more do you want me to say? That's the way I feel. I don't think shitting on bullshit religions is bad for your soul, honestly. I don't think that's true. I think being bad to other people is bad for your soul. Johnny, do you feel bad the way you talk to George? You should, man. He's like it's like if I did a show with Jonathan, and when Jonathan called in, if I just kept shitting on him and talking shit about him and making comments that he's dumb and like, do you ever learn, Jonathan? It's like, what the fuck? Why do you treat George like that? Is that Christian? You're here crying because I ranted about how I feel about Christianity? And I didn't watch this whole broadcast, but I mean, you probably shit on George in this video too. Leave George alone. Hold on.
He's still doing the whore's work for her. Are you kidding me? Pray to some invisible God. That Jesus must be that Jesus must be some kind of asshole to be watching all this and doing nothing.
Okay. Every time I listen to 10 more seconds, I got something more to say. Yeah, what I'm saying about, these people who just pray to their invisible God and just believe in Jesus and come here and talk shit to me every day, it's like, think about it, man. I am a person in the world who's been here for every single fucking day for over 7 years straight because I saw the crucial moment we're living in now and that we needed to do something about it and try to organize and wake people up. And I do feel that in that period of time, I've also done the best work, but it doesn't matter because it hasn't been enough and now we're all getting fucked. So, I'm ranting. My frustration's coming out. And I can't think of how many people over the years left a comment like, your channel's bullshit because you don't believe in Jesus. What the fuck is Jesus doing? Seriously, what the fuck is Jesus doing? Comforting your delusion? You feel good because you're delusional about this belief, about this bullshit story? I understand why saying that might offend somebody, but that's how I look at it. All these people with their delusional belief, not doing jack shit, coming to somebody who is doing something, and all they can fucking say is this stupid comment. I'd listen to you, but I heard you don't believe in Jesus. Is it true you're Jewish? Why does everyone think I'm Jewish? Because some fucking moron asshole, A Call for an Uprising, made a 2-hour documentary saying I was an Israeli plant? Why did he do that? What was his real motivation? His real motivation was because I embarrassed him on his own channel and his whole audience saw he was a fraud. That's why. That's why. And what a scumbag to go out and again, what kind of Christian is that? Are Christians taught to shit on Jews? Is that part of the Christian belief, to shit on Jews? That's how the cabal operates, keeping people divided amongst their religions. It's so obvious, you guys, that it's the Jesuits who've set up the Jewish fronts that take the blame from a lot of the conspiracy community. It's just so obvious. We know that the Jesuits are running this whole thing. Where did they have the first vaccines at in the U.S.? In the Jewish hospital. What do you think A Call for an Uprising thinks about that? He's like, there's the Jews mocking us again. Little does he know. It's the people that are supposedly on his side. The Society of Jesus. Same people that set up Israel. Same people that instigated the world wars. And it's not to say that the you-know-whos don't share some responsibility because the Jesuits were formed by half you-know-whos who converted to Catholicism. And we all know what's written in the Talmud about how Goyim are a lesser race. And honestly, you guys, I'm not convinced that that's wrong. I'm not. I don't know what my genetics are, but I've even said it before. I suspect that my dad's dad was probably Jewish. He doesn't know who his dad is. His dad was a scumbag. Impregnated his mom and ran off. All of you guys who shooting women and you have no intention of raising a child or having a relationship, what the fuck is wrong with you? What's wrong with you? So I know that that's one of my... and by the way, you guys, that's the other thing. My dad, not religious at all. My dad, someone who lives by the golden rule, works his ass off. He's a good slave, that guy. He's a good sheep, my dad, I gotta be honest. Oh, my goodness. But he's a good person, He's an honest person. He works hard, and he doesn't ask for shit. And some employers really love a guy like my dad because they'll work him to death, not pay him jack shit. My dad will never complain. He'll just work his ass off even harder the next day. And, I just got to witness him too. I was like, okay, my mom's kind of the dishonest one. Like, my mom would go in the grocery store and she'd be like, we're walking out the parking lot. She'd be like, look, Zach, they forgot to ring up all this stuff. We just got this for free. And I'd be thinking, does that mean we should go back and pay for it? But, my mom didn't. She'd be like, it's our lucky day. And that's the way, when you're poor, it probably did feel like your lucky day and these companies are ripping you off anyway. But I guarantee if that was my dad would have been like, oh, shit, we got to go back and pay for that right now, So my mom was the religious one who didn't have the best ethics. And then my dad was the non-religious one who would just pretty much preach the golden rule all day and seemed to get along with everyone in the world except for my mom. And as I grow older, I understand why that is. My mom doesn't really get along with anyone. So it's hard to get along with my mom. Unless you give her a margarita, then she's good. But anyway. Here, let's listen to some more. Let's listen to some more crybaby talk. Here we go.
He has a big chip on his shoulder. And let me tell you something. A lot of people that have these problems, a lot of people that have this big chip on their shoulder towards Christianity are actually covering for something. They're covering for the fact that they like porn or they like fornication or they like whatever it is that Christianity says is wrong. And rather than have the courage to address what Christianity says is wrong, they bullshit themselves and attack Christianity. Now,
Okay. That is not the reason. The reason is because I see clearly that religion is the basis of everything that is wrong. It is the basis of why so many people are so dumb, so clueless, so believing in bullshit, because they accepted that from a young age, believing in bullshit, and now it's just normal to believe in bullshit. That's why that's all they teach you in school is bullshit. That's why it's all they give you on the news every night is bullshit. It's why your government just feeds you bullshit. We are conditioned for fucking bullshit. That's the problem. Not porn, not that I like to fuck girls like every other man. And with regards to sex in Christianity, it's another big problem. Why do you have all these beliefs created by the church, by man, that are not of God about sex and what the rules are for who can have sex with who? Because there's so much of this, look at the countries that have the most rapists and sex problems. It's the most religious, and it's probably the Christian ones too, because it seems to be the religion that fucks people up the most about sex. Here's the reality if you believe in God and that we were created by God, because I'm pretty sure no one can argue with this. If you're a woman, you might not know exactly how it works for a boy, but realize it's all around on the same timeline. Girls get their period usually at the start of their teenage years, if not earlier. I know some girls are getting their period at like 10 and 11 now, and I think that's some of the hormones and shit that they're doing in food it's like a couple of years before it's supposed to, but I think what's normal historically is like right around 12, 13, maybe if you're a late bloomer, 14, just like how some boys are like the last to get whiskers on their face. But it's right in that window, right? And it's about the same exact age that boys start waking up with morning wood every day. Because that's how it is when you're a little boy. You wake up and you're rock hard in your shorts. And it's usually uncomfortable. You're like, oh, shit. And that's the way it is. Now, if God didn't make you ready to fuck at that age, then what was he doing? Now, in our society, that's taboo to think that kids should be having sex at 13, 14, even younger than that. I mean, we make laws so that if an 18-year-old has sex with his 17-year-old girlfriend and maybe they've been dating since they were 15, 16 in the wrong state, he could end up getting thrown in jail for rape. What? But anyway, God made us a certain way. God made us the procreation age pretty early in our life. And you notice things growing up. You notice the girls who got pregnant early had their kids, they might have had 2 kids by the time they were 20, 21, and then maybe they didn't have any more children. You notice their physique's nice, their bodies stay nice. These women that have children older, their bodies get all fucked up, and they know their bodies never go back to the same. It's like they were supposed to have their children when they were younger, right? So it seems crazy in this world to think about things like this. Like, should children be getting married at 13, 14, procreating, starting their family? I mean, it sounds totally wrong in this world that we're supposed to, but you look at it naturally, it actually looks like maybe it's supposed to be that way. And what is sex for adults? I mean, it's happiness, right? It's pleasure, it's good feelings, it's sharing your love with somebody. Now, we don't think of adults until you're 18. We don't think of a 12 or a 13 or a 14-year-old as an adult. But you know what? When I think back, when I was that age, I wasn't much different than I am now. I'm more physically developed. My voice is lower. But I knew the forest for the trees back then. And I think most people would too if they weren't raised in bullshitville. But what I'm trying to say is, God made us in this earth, and we're supposed to live like in harmony with the nature of our bodies in this world. I just think the way that humanity was supposed to be was living in tribes, in harmony with nature, in cycles with the season, and maybe back in the tribe day, you probably didn't live as long back then. Well, who knows? It depends on if you were out hunting where the lions were, or if the biggest predator in the area was an elk or something. But anyway, I could see why you'd want to procreate and have more offspring and have young helpers. Okay, let's say that I had my first child as a 15-year-old. I'm 37 right now. My oldest child would be 22 years old. He'd be very helpful. 22-year-old helper. Imagine I had 3 kids, 22, 20, 19 right now. Those are the 3 ages. Man, I could go get a plot of land. We'd be growing our own food. We're taking care of the family. That's the way it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be out living off the land. The land is plentiful as long as we don't destroy it, which is what we all know we're doing because of this consumer society and this overabundance. I mean, how many there yesterday, sat and watched a football game, and by the 4th hour of the game, you'd seen 50 different hamburger commercials, beer, chips. By the end of the day, did you have one of those things or all of those things in your hand? I mean, they've turned us into consumers. They use up our whole childhood until we're about 18, filling our heads with bullshit. Then we're expected to either go out and start working and paying taxes, or get a huge, massive loan and go to 4 more years of bullshit school so that hopefully when we graduate, someone will hire us. I remember when I graduated from college, it was like, fuck, you try to apply for every job. Every job says 1 to 2 years experience needed. 1 to 2 years experience needed. It's like, how the fuck are you supposed to get a job? Luckily, I knew someone who knew someone. But, well, there was more to it. I impressed the guy, too. I should give myself some credit. But anyway. The world's not supposed to be this way. We're not supposed to be consumers, getting our heads filled with bullshit, voting for people to represent a nation of 350 million people. Because if you read if you go back to Communication 101 and start to read, everyone's, well, I haven't read a book like this for 10 years, but it was this way for the longest time. It was understood that human communication begins to break down in groups once that group gets bigger than 8 people. It's like that's the magic number. Once you get beyond that, you start to enter this period where there's a lot of breakdown, a lot more problems in the group. But 8 people working together. And, that probably is a family. A family. They're the network that's expected to operate together, function together, have a life together. And that doesn't mean you only live in a community of 8 people, but there's 8 people that are on your homestead, your property, raising the food. Maybe that's your mother and father and your sibling and your children as you all grow up. But it's like a group of people like that. That's the trustworthy network. That's where the human, being is operational and trustworthy and most functional. I've read that in multiple sources, so I know there's got to be an element of truth to that, and it just makes a lot of sense logically as well. And it's like your circle of friends growing up. How big was your circle of friends? It probably wasn't bigger than 8 people, Your real friends, not your Facebook friends. I don't even know if people have friends anymore. Kids go home from school and go on Facebook. I got 150 friends. Trust me, your Facebook friends aren't your friends. But, yeah, I mean, we just live in bullshitville, you guys, and it got to be this way because an authority came. You could just imagine it. Imagine the native people here, the native brown people once on this land. Here comes the white people with the more, And realize that's what really dominates the world, is who has the technological advancement. Whoever has that is running shit. Just like the people who run us today, they got the technology that programs our minds. The TV, the radio, the print, everything. They control these tech companies, what information reaches you. But you just imagine the Native Americans that were here, the people who were here before the white settlers came over from Europe, you know? And in our history books, it was manifest destiny to get rid of these godless savages. They were godless because they didn't believe in Jesus, right? So it was manifest destiny to just wipe them out. No big deal, to set up the freest nation there ever was. But again, just imagine these people that were already over here. You know, they were living in tribes. They were in harmony with the land. Was there war amongst the tribes? I'm sure there was. But I'm sure when war happened is when people had to compete for resources. But I imagine a plentiful world. I don't know. I wasn't here for sure, but okay. I imagine there's always good and bad in everything. It's just, the point is, there were people who lived here for a very long time, and they didn't destroy the fucking place. But by the people who came over here, they were referred to as godless heathens because they didn't know anything about Jesus and gunpowder and having the technology that they have. So they were seen as an inferior people. And isn't that exactly how we're taught in school? That inferior people were our ancestors because they were agricultural? See, realize what it was. Realize what really happened. It's not that they were inferior, because technology and all this isn't it. It's like of the devil. You start to realize it. It's like it's this technology. It's gunpowder. All this shit's what fucked up the world. You know? But again, the people who were here, they didn't believe in Jesus, but they weren't ruining God's creation, and they weren't, sending missionaries around the world to send out their beliefs and spread their belief systems. That's conquest. That is manifest destiny. All of you guys who believe in all this government and religion, that is the shit that ruined the world. Period. Okay? Period. Christianity, the only religion that has door-to-door salesmen, too. I mean, don't you guys realize that about your religion? Door-to-door salesman always. I'll always remember the goon who came to my first house and told me my house was about to fall over, and I said, no, it's fine. And he said, oh, trust me, I'm a Christian. I wouldn't lie to you. You need this product. I said, I said, dude, don't ever come back over here again. I said, you're exactly what's wrong with Christianity. I told them right to his face. But yeah, I mean, understand. Authority is what fucked up the world, with religion, with bullshit, even with technology. This technology is all the work of authority, and people who want to be the authority and the controllers. I guess that's probably the thing about the human condition, is even if you destroyed what was, it would be hard to prevent it from coming back, because there's always people who want to control and rule over others and greed. But still, what's in place has to be destroyed, because it's probably the worst thing that there ever was. The thing that rules right now over all of us, which uses, again, all the things to control us. The government, the religion, the technology. You start to look at humanity. Why isn't this group of people standing up against the tyranny, and they see it over there? Oh, because that group is waiting for Jesus. They think that's all that they can do. Wait for Jesus. How did they get that thought in their head? Did God come down and tell them that? Or was it because a book was presented to them as a child, or a story from the parents or the authority? Of course, the answer is what I just said. God never came to them and told them anything about Jesus or any of these beliefs. It was all in a book that they choose to believe in from the authority, from the 666, from the Gutenberg, first printed Bible. And yeah, so let me go back to Johnny. Hold on. Johnny's got some more stuff that he wants to complain about. Hold on.
Let me take a minute and address this critique, this criticism. So if I had Zach in front of me, I would say, first of all, you're way over the top. You don't need to be so over the top. You definitely got some kind of serious issue here.
Okay, he is right that I have a chip on my shoulder and a serious issue, and again, his accusation a second ago is not what it is, and you know what? Let's just say it was. the reason this is not true, but I'm just going to entertain what he accused me of. The reason I don't want to be a Christian is because I liked fucking girls outside of wedlock. And I'm assuming that Johnny must have been a virgin until he was married. And you know what? If that's the choice you want to make, so be it. There's good and bad to all things. Honestly, I guess if you only... Okay, you know what's interesting about good and bad in all things? If you only had sex with one person in your life, and you were really attracted and loved that person so much, that might actually be perfect and ideal. I don't know because I don't have that experience. But living the life I have and having had sex with multiple people, I'm glad I had those experiences, because what you realize is just how different people are. Even though we're all the same, you realize how much different somebody else can be. Like, I don't want to turn this into a Triple X video, but, some girls just, some girls are just more fun than others. Like, have you enjoyed life until you've met a squirter? Maybe you haven't. So, to each their own. But again, I imagine he's a fornicator and that's why he's against Jesus and Christianity. No, that's not it. But at the same time, again, I feel like religion might deny people some things that they need. Johnny, maybe the reason you're so... trust me, I'm not trying to piss you off, man. I love you, and I appreciate that you're out here speaking truth and raising awareness about things that most people don't have a clue about. But, dude, you seem just like you're fucking... I'm an angry person, but, God, you seem like you have this bitter anger that you're always taking out on George, for example. And maybe I can make an assumption. Maybe the reason you're so bitter the way you are is because you haven't fucked enough women. Maybe that's what it is. And maybe I'm not wrong. And maybe God doesn't care if you do fuck multiple women as long as you don't lie to women and try to get them pregnant and you're honest about things and you're on the same terms. And I think if you go out and lie to a woman to sleep with her, I think that's absolutely wrong. And guys do that all night. Pick up on women, brag to them about shit that's not true, impress them. And that's the woman's fault for falling for the liar because they're like, ooh, he's rich. That's the trick with every woman. I used to know these two guys in Seattle. They were the same age as me. And they read this book on how to pick up on women, and they gave it to me, and I was just disgusted by it. But what was hilarious is they were like, let's do this as a social experiment. It was just about going out and acting obnoxious, treating women like shit, bragging about stuff, being unapologetic. Man, they were killing it, man. They were banging out the bedposts multiple times a weekend with these strategies. They're like, high five, this book's fucking... But I was like, God, this is fucking gross. You guys are gross. Like, to me, that's gross. I don't think being a sexual whore is right. I'm not advocating for that. And I don't think lying to women and just doing whatever you can to just fuck every woman is right. To me, that grosses me out. And I used to hate how, there was a guy who was 2 years older than me that was from money and he was good looking. Man, he took like the virginity of every good looking girl in our high school. It's just like, look at this guy just fucking every single beautiful girl because he's rich and good looking. You see how it works? Like, trust me, I realize there's problems with this, but it's the way this world is, and maybe that's why it would be better if we were all spiritual, and maybe we went with our one true love when we were 12 or 13 years old, and we had our first child by the time we were 15. Maybe that's the way it's supposed to be, but you realize, like, these things that are happening that tear people apart and disgust people, it's all just because of this whole fucked up world. When you're put in a school where you're bored all day and the only thing to do is check out the girls and sneak off to the bathroom and whatever else, the only reason that scenario is even arising is because of this bullshit-ass system. You know what I mean? So, yeah, religious people talking about me and making assumptions about me, it what drives me nuts. And realize, you guys, I would have never said anything about religion if people had just left me alone, because it's not a topic I really like to talk about. But I'm always getting attacked by religious people. And then they get so butthurt when I respond back to their community, realizing, come on, Christians, you've seen the bumper sticker, Jesus, save me from your followers. I feel like I should go buy one right now. I feel like I should have that bumper sticker too. It's the best bumper sticker I've ever seen. Jesus, save me from your followers. And I still remember a girl that I went to confirmation class with. I was kicked out of confirmation because I asked too many questions. Her name was Amy. Amy was pregnant when she was 14, and she was someone and she was like this little, okay, fine, she's pregnant at 14. I'm not saying that's wrong. If she wanted to go out and have sex and get pregnant, that's up to her. But the point I'm making is when she was in confirmation class, she was like the most do-gooder Christian. Oh, Zach, I can't believe you're asking. Zach, you shouldn't ask that. Just like, okay, holier than thou. And then look at her. When she's out of confirmation class, she's getting fucked. And now she's already pregnant. Just full of shit religious people. Almost all of them are. Okay, more Johnny.
Here. Because there are people for whom this is sacred. And if it's so important to you to alienate those people, and I'm one of them, then by all means drive on and don't change anything. But if you really want to, Charles says he's got a bad vibe. Listen, if he pops in right now, I would still do everything I could to maintain a connection with him. But this has to be addressed. This has to be addressed.
Okay. So here's all that needs to be addressed. Do you want to overthrow tyranny, and do you want to work with the people who are actually doing something to do that? Well, then you better stop worrying about their fucking religious beliefs, especially if they're not trying to make an issue about it. And realize, I wasn't talking to him or addressing him, but him as a Christian, he heard about it, and then he got offended, so then he has to bring it up on his show. You're allowing yourself to get offended. I've said it a million times. I can live in a community with anyone who believes anything as long as they don't start casting their belief bullshit on me. Okay? That's why I say if a community's set up and people live there, we have to live by simple rules. The golden rule, looking out for each other, helping each other. You can believe whatever you want. Let's just not fight about it. You can have any belief here. I'm for freedom of religion too, I guess. Even though some of these religions seem to be really fucking wicked. Just don't fuck with me with your religion. That's all I'm saying. Believe what you want, but if your religion becomes a problem for me, like you're fucking with my life, then we got an issue. Other than that, I don't care. I don't care. And I realize a lot of Christians, that they are kind of like me too. Like, I don't know, I guess they didn't read their Bible because they're not turning the other cheek and they do want to do something. Which to me makes you technically not a Christian, but I mean, again, believe what you want to believe. Okay, here's some more Johnny.
You're welcome, Terry. Well, I'm not going to run from it. Neither am I going to say, I'm never doing anything with that guy again. Of course I collaborate with him, sure. But what, are you kidding me? So let me...
And just for the record, because this is honestly true, a lot of you don't realize that I've jumped in on Johnny's channel and just added something to their conversation. Because when I'm doing my work, if his show's on, I'll listen to it in the background and what they're talking about. And, and sometimes I'll be like, if Zach's out there, you should hop in. And I'll be like, all right, fuck it, I'm going to hop in. So, but I always go on his show to bring him something. And the thing is, like, when I jump in there, there's only like 30 people watching his show. So it's not like I'm going in there. My reason to go in there is because he'd like for me to come on and it's helpful to his show. But at the same time, I'm like, well, this isn't exactly going to get out the word because nobody's watching. But I'm just doing the right thing and because it helps him out. And the thing, I already realized things about him. I've heard some of the things he says that I disagree with. I just don't care. I don't bring it up. I'm trying to be on the same. I'm trying to align with him where we agree. And I'm not trying to change his beliefs. I got to be honest about something else. For all the people over the years who've messaged me that I made them change their spiritual beliefs, it actually makes me feel bad. I don't think you should. I don't think you should change your spiritual beliefs because of what I say. I guess unless it resonates with you so much. But I mean, your beliefs are your own beliefs. You have your beliefs for your reason, and you should arrive at those thoughts based on your own experience in this world. And I guess in a way, if you hear me talking, that becomes part of your experience. But don't ever write to me and tell me that you change your spiritual beliefs because of me. Only change your spiritual beliefs because you want to change your spiritual beliefs. And again, I just think everyone should keep it simple. Stop being so holier than thou. Stop thinking you know everything. I never act like I know everything when it comes to spirituality. I always say I could be wrong. But, yeah, and just, like, the point I'm making is this guy's bitching about me right now, and he's not doing it in the meanest way or anything, but it's just like, he's bitching about me, and it's like, dude, all I've really tried to do is bring more people to your channel and more awareness to you, because I don't feel like you're getting enough recognition. So I'm trying to help him out. Now he's like, talking like, I'm not going to cut him off all the way necessarily. It's like, dude, do you know, okay, I'm not saying I'm greater than you or anything, but do you see the reality of this situation? You don't have an audience. I do. And even like I said at the beginning, people should subscribe to your channel even though you're bitching about me. I still think you're ultimately what you're doing is good, but don't sit over there and cross your arms and act like the situation's not what it is. Like if this is the mafia and you're not the mob boss, okay? And I'm not saying I am either, but you got to know where you are in terms of the hierarchy, even though this is all about overthrowing authority. And really, I'm not trying to be like that either. I'm not trying to say anything like that. Again, we really do need to get rid of authority and hierarchy, but I'm also saying let's be real about things. If somebody's bringing people your way, you really want to go against them, even if their beliefs aren't the exact same as yours? Again, align where you should. Don't get caught up in the differences. But also, maybe you should think about what I'm saying. Men living in fish, talking to the burning bush, incompetent plans by God that make no sense. You don't think this same bullshit leads to all the other bullshit that people are believing in? Really? Hold on. They have this audio glitch here and it goes silent for like 30 seconds or a minute. I know it happens later in the broadcast too. But hold on, I'll filibuster here. I didn't turn off their sound, it's just they have the, because they're on Discord and their Discord dropped. But it'll come back. But, yeah, it's just, I mean, this is all religion is here for, is just to divide people and keep them divided and fighting, and that's why, to me, it's like, we're never going to overcome this until we overcome religion. Until we can just go, truly be humble enough to say, you know what, I don't fucking know what is real when it comes to religion. You know? I honestly, you guys, I think God exists. I do have to believe in God because I can't prove it, but it's based on the observations I made. But I'll even admit to an atheist, I'll say, I don't know that God exists.
1 2 1 2.
Here, they're back.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? I can hear.
No sound. Still no sound. Yeah.
Yeah, we hear each other here, but nobody in the check test.
Yeah, I can hear back.
Okay, does it sound back?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so let me address this. And first, let me also reiterate, most of the time, people who attack Christianity do so because they're full of shit. Do so because they're covering for some sort of nasty personal.
Okay. Again, this is I don't know that it's true even most of the time, man. I think a lot of people don't believe in Christianity because, for the same reasons I don't, that it's just seems like a load of bullshit. And I'll say that I'm 99.9999999 more nines % sure it is. Okay? I could be wrong, but that's the way I feel about it. Oh, I'm God. What can I think of? I'm going to send a man to die on a cross on earth for everyone's sins. And then if they believe in that story, then I'll let them into my pearly gates. Meanwhile, I'll let all this horrible shit go on because I want to see my creation destroyed. But, yeah, again, he just keeps coming back to this idea that's just totally false. So, and my belief is that, or not my belief, what I think is that most people believe in Christianity because it was taught to them by authority and they're compliant with authority, and because ultimately most people are scared and weak inside and they're afraid that if they don't believe in this bullshit they were told they need to believe in, there's going to be big consequences, including no eternal afterlife in the paradise. And again, I'm not saying that people shouldn't live right while on this earth. I'm saying people absolutely should live right while on this earth because for a lot of reasons. In case there is a spiritual afterlife, just like the Christians believe is one reason. That would be a reason. But more important reasons, because doing the right thing is right, period. Because taking care of this world that you live in for others and for future generations is right. It's just right to be right. You don't need religion. You shouldn't need a reward like a little child. And realize that's when you start getting the religion, when you're a little child. Good job, Johnny. You got your shot. Here's a sticker. You know? Good job, Johnny. And sorry, I'm not trying to be facetious. His name's Johnny Cerrucci. I'm so used to saying Johnny. Well, we'll say Jimmy. Good job, Jimmy. You believe just like your daddy told you. You're going to make it to the pearly gates just like your daddy. Good job, Jimmy. See, I don't have that liability. My daddy just said, go out and live by the golden rule and treat people right Makes the world a better place. Okay, Dad. And my dad's a lot better at doing that than I am. He's 10 million less times the asshole than I am. But granted, when I go out in the world, most people are happy. Like, every day I go to the post office, they say, hey, Zach. Well, I mean, you'd think they'd be sick of me. I'm there every day with all these packages. But, again, I make the people laugh. I say nice things to them. So, I try to make the world more pleasant when I go out and be in. I realize my videos, the way I conduct myself, you got to say things to be recognized in the information age, computing with a million different people. I do realize that, trust me, some of the things I say on here I would not say in person if I was talking to you, because it is over the top in that regard. But this is different to me. I am saying things that I mean and that I think are true. I'm just saying it in a totally unfiltered way where I would filter myself more in reality, because I don't want to fight every last person I see. You know what I mean? But here we go. More of Johnny.
Something that they're hanging on to, whether it's masturbating to porn or fornication or cheating on their wife or cheating on their girlfriend or having.
And here's the other thing, is he's like, these are the reasons he keeps going back to, that I must not believe in Jesus. It could only be these group of things that are sexual related, because Christians are just always so focused on sex. You know, you got to sign a legal agreement with the government before you can get married and have sex, because the authority needs to know everything. But the thing is about Christians that I know is they're the most full of shit and hypocritic. Johnny, you better not be jerking off right now and cheating on, I don't know if you're married or your girlfriend, but just how much you're bringing this up makes me start to think this is your problem. So, and that's how it is with most Christians I know, just full of shit, accusing other people of their own problems.
Having homosexual, anything. And then they bullshit themselves and they pick shit that is illogical to attack Christianity. But the real thing that's going on is Christianity is a mirror to them and bothers them. Christianity says what you're doing is wrong. And so rather than have the courage and the honesty to address their habits, they attack it.
Okay, now I am going to admit the one thing that I feel wrong about when I rant against Christianity, the one thing I feel wrong about is, what if I am wrong, and what if I'm putting people on the wrong path, especially younger people? I do question that, so you should question that too if you're someone who follows me and listens to things I say. Because again, I don't know. But to me, I think if God looked at my life, he would say, wow, you are someone who really has been trying to help out people for a really long time, since you were a young boy. And that's what I fall back on, you know? Is God going to be like, but, oh, man, these girls here, you weren't married, Zach. I say, well, at least I didn't lie to him, right? Yeah, maybe we'll give you a sticker for that. I don't know if it's like this, you know? The Mormons think they got it all figured out. The magic plates that Adam Smith discovered, the tighty-whities, the closer you get to God, the whiter your skin becomes. And I always get confused when I see people who aren't white joining the Mormon religion. It's like, God, you're joining the most racist religion? The Mormons got good genetics, though, man. A lot of them do. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them do. A lot of the prettiest girls I've ever seen that are white have been Mormon. There's something about their eyes. I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, weird religion, though. But they think they got it all figured out, too.
I don't know if that's true for... Go ahead, George, quickly. I haven't made my second point. It's important. Go ahead.
Okay, don't get me wrong. I still listen to Zach.
No, yeah, all right. Let me finish. You can go ahead and make your point on Zach.
I'll say you even work with AGP. So
yeah. Okay. Doc says, shut the fuck up. You work with Eric John White Power Phelps. You don't have a leg to stand on.
Touche.
You're happy. No, you know what, George? And you know what? I have to say, good comes of it. More good than bad comes of it. Yes. I don't like the thumbs up of Phelps's bullshit and his racism and whatnot.
Oh, yeah, okay. So can we have this conversation out the air, Johnny?
Okay.
Sure. Let me get back and make my final point.
Oh, okay, yes.
So the criticism is Jesus isn't real, or Jesus is a bad guy, or Jesus is fake because he allows evil in the world. Well, how about this? How about the world is temporary? How about the world is temporary? And the purpose of the world is to mature you spiritually so that you can enjoy eternity in paradise as the companion of Christ. And
Okay, so let's say that that's the way it is. That, this world is just a test. Obviously, it's temporary for us. Nobody lasts forever. But that's what it's all about. You come to this world full of temptation, full of good and evil. You're given choices every day, and it's all just a big test to make it into the pearly gates afterwards. That's true. Here's another thought. Maybe the world is a big spiritual test. I do think part of what God's plan for us is to spiritually mature. I think that is true. Absolutely, to grow as a person every day. To do something right, to help somebody out every day. I don't disagree with that at all. And by the way, I've never said Jesus is a bad guy either. What I have said is I was raised Lutheran, and I pretty much learned my spiritual beliefs from Jesus, and I agreed with most of it, maybe just not all of it. But at the end of the day, I just realized also religion was kind of bullshit and here to divide us and take the good and throw out the bad. And that's pretty much what I've done. So consider myself a spiritual free agent. I don't belong to any religion. I just belong to what I think is doing the right thing. And that's not to say that everything I do is the right thing. I try to, most of the time. Sometimes you just let other things get the better of you. And like Johnny, if he watches this, seriously, he's going to realize that he is an asshole to George. And why is that? I mean, it's not nice a lot of the times when he listens. Like, what the fuck? Why is he going off on his host like that? What, because his host mic was a little bit quiet? Come on, man. Tell him just boost the volume. What the fuck? This is how he does it. What the fuck, George? How many times do I gotta fucking tell you to turn up your fucking mic, man? Every fucking show. It's like, whoa, dude, I'm surprised that George comes back for the next episode. My God, Johnny, you wonder why you only got 2,000 subscribers? Fuck, man, save that energy for the enemy. Feels like you want to kill George. Then you're here ranting about how great your religion is. Again, I'm looking from the other side saying, I think maybe Johnny hasn't fucked enough women, man. Maybe that's how his rage is so pent up, dude. Or who knows, maybe. Never mind, I'm not even going to make that joke. That one would have killed him. Okay, hold on. Coming back.
in order to do that, you have to suffer in this world to enjoy.
Oh yeah. That's the whole Christian thing, right? Everything's fucking suffer. You gotta suffer, because it says it in the book. Have you ever thought about this for a minute? Have you ever thought that the authority, because they want to work your ass and exploit your ass and fucking use and abuse you as they do, that maybe they set you up with a belief system that for this world you're supposed to suffer and endure pain? No pain, no gain, right? I mean, it's true when you work out, absolutely. But, yeah, have you ever thought that maybe that's not how it's really supposed to be? I agree. My theory is that everyone who's awake has suffered, because it seems that it's going through something traumatic that wakes a lot of people up. What's the Christian whistleblower's name? Jeff Doherty. I haven't been on his show for a minute. The last time I was on his show, we've talked about religion and politics on his show. That guy seems to always want to go back in the box. I know. But if you don't know Jeff Doherty, the Christian whistleblower, he's a former minister who found out his wife was fucking another man, and that made him give up on Christianity altogether. And that's his story, and he tells it openly. To me, that's not exactly... It's not like an inspiring story to me, because it's like... So you gave up on your whole belief because your wife was cheating? I forget exactly who he was cheating with. I think it might have been somebody else in the church. And again, that just reminds me of these Christians that I've known, because they've all been lying, hypocritical pieces of shit, honestly, the ones that I've known that have been close to me, and I got a ton of them in my own family. Everyone in my family is Christian, you guys. Bunch of drunk, racist assholes who don't know shit about shit, but they all believe in Jesus, because they all want to go to heaven. That's why, to me, Christianity is just a joke, like wearing a face diaper. Again, it's your environment. It's the world you live in. I mean, the people who've been the Christians, they're just a joke to me. I guarantee you put me in a group of 1,000 humans, majority of the time in that group of 1,000, I'm going to be looking the most like Jesus. Guaranteed you. No matter what I rant and say, just in terms of actions and the way that I operate, guaranteed. So, anyway, I just feel like the Christian mindset, it's just so typical and small-minded and not really well thought out. And I just feel like most Christians just can't even see their own selves and their own behaviors, and they're just worried about this insignificant shit. I mean, if Johnny's right, he might find that he doesn't make it into heaven just because of the way he treated his co-host George. I mean, God's got to be cringing when he talks to George half the time. And I never say anything to him about it because I'm just like, fuck it, man. I mean, they do the show together. They get along. And George takes the beating from Johnny every show. It's just like, but every time I watch it, I'm like, God, this is the most uncomfortable part of the show. Why is he doing that? To me, it just feels cruel. But I never made a video saying like, you know, Johnny, maybe you only have 2,000 subscribers because you're shitting on your co-host. So, anyway, I mean, don't make excuses for what holds you back in this world. Censorship is a real thing, and we're all getting censored to death, and it is holding us back. But I still don't make that my excuse. I still come out here every day and try to break through the censorship, even if it is fucking impossible. I don't care. Every day I make the video, I'm like, this is going to be the one. This one's going to reach 1 million again. I've made over 10,000 videos. I've only had 2 get 1 million views, and both of them were about deaths. Both are 2 old pieces of shit. David Rockefeller and George Herbert Walker Bush. You know how disappointing that is to say? Out of all the awesome content I've done, only 1 million views in this big-ass world where everyone has a phone in their pocket? Only 2 times. And about old assholes. Anyway, Johnny's almost done here.
Enjoy the next. It's just that simple. This world is temporary. You have to suffer in this world to mature and more fully enjoy an eternity in paradise. I'm sorry, Adventists. Paradise is for forever. It's just that simple. Hello.
Okay. I think he's at the end of it. I think that's the end of the pep talk right there, and then they get into another subject. But it could be just that simple, and that could be right, and it's all about the test of this world to get into the heaven afterlife, and maybe it is. But is anyone certain about the way to really get there? To me, if God's not judging us based on our actions and how much good we intend to do in the world and our actual intent, then, you know, I literally say, fuck it, man. If God's not rolling that way, then fuck it. I'm going wherever else. Maybe God's overrated. And I'll even say that. I think God would have the humility to say, like, okay, Zach can question if I'm overrated today. Even if God is the creator, maybe he is overrated. Why did he allow so many flaws in humanity? Why make it this way? Is it just for his amusement? Are we for his amusement? Is this for his amusement? This existence that doesn't have to be full of all this pain and suffering, but is foretold in the Christian teachings that came from the authority and kings. Kings who exploit their people. What do kings do? They demand a ration. Kings sit back, enjoy the food, you know, taken care of, and they expect the people to bring them more. Bring it to the king. I'm the king. And by the way, good people, for bringing me all those fine grapes, I got a little book for you this year. Here, I got the Word of God written by Shakespeare. Believe in it. Believe in it. Or else, it's obviously true because Shakespeare wrote it. King James. I'm King James. Dave Chappelle should come back and do what was it, Rick James? He should come back and do it for King James, a King James parody. Maybe I will. Anyway, fool me once. I think Christians get fooled every day. They're waiting for the return of Jesus. I'm pretty sure he just returned again today as long as the sky's clear. There he is. Time is synced up with Jesus. Jesus the Son. His 12 disciples. That's my favorite detail about Jesus in 2020. It's like, man, Jesus, if he was the truth, only he could find 12 other truth seekers. Where are the people willing to help out? Jesus was having the same damn problem. You'd think Jesus, man, magician and shit. Was Jesus a magician? Christians are all afraid of magic, but man, Jesus was doing magic tricks. Turn you all into alcoholics over here. You thought water was good for you? Jesus only drinks wine. Bam! You know, Jesus the miracle worker. And again, people will remind you, the sun walks on water. It does. Right over. Nice clean reflection. So, sometimes I think the people who are believing in these religions are just the people who just aren't quite smart enough to get the big joke on them from the authority. Just like the people walk like this. I was at the dentist and this woman, I come up to the desk, she hands me this. This is my dental office here in Yakima. She handed me this. And she said, I need you to put that on. And I said, well, I will not. And I said it firmly. And she just said, okay. And she didn't say anything else. But most people would just put that on because, you know, the authority told them, you know, the store manager, the government employee, the teacher, the boss, some authority. I realized, what year was it? 2012. 2012, that was the year I said I was done with authority. I said, I'll never work for anybody else. And I haven't since then. But, yeah, I just got fucked over for the last time. I was tired of people exploiting my goodness. And I was like, you know what? I'm never letting this happen again. This Japanese family just really fucked me. And I told a guy I knew that was working on my house at the time about this story. He was bitching to me about something, about some Japanese. And I said, that's funny that they were Japanese that fucked you too. I said, man, the people I just got fucked over were Japanese. And I said, I can't badmouth Japanese people though, because I said half the people that worked there in the office were Japanese, and some of them were the nicest people I ever met. But man, the people that ran that place, they were the most evil fucking people I ever met, man. Just blatant lies, carrot on a stick to get you to do so much shit, and then no follow through. And then they treat you like there's something wrong when you question them. But that's what authority is. And again, most people just bow down for it every day because they think that they can't do nothing without somebody else. So many people are used to being dependents. And I guess that can be the closing thought for this long, disorganized rant on why we need to get rid of authority and why authority is nothing but bullshit that's fucking up the world. But it does raise dependency too. And so many people are dependent on others. And I'm fortunate to be raised the way I was. A lot of people would say that my parents were irresponsible, leaving me home, expecting me to do stuff, but it raised dependency. You know, prepare your food, get to where you're supposed to be on time, do your job. You know, this is what my parents put in my head, and those things were good. But, yeah, just so many people, they can't do anything. They need someone else to rely on, you know? God. I had a friend growing up who was a star athlete whose mom spoiled him on everything, and he never learned any responsibility because he was rich and spoiled, and everything was always taken care of. And, you know, he was another young, good-looking guy, and he was a star athlete, so he's another guy that, like, fucked nearly every girl in sight, and he was living it up back then. But now I look at him. The dude ended up marrying a woman that's literally 20 years older than him, and I know exactly why, because it's his fucking mom. He needed a mom to take care of him and do every last thing in his life. The guy's, this is a true story about this guy. He's never had a job. The way he finally learned to make independent money, and it blew my mind, but it just showed me what a competitor he is. He learned to play that roller golf game in the arcade when he was like in his early 20s, because he never had to work, just wealthy kid. He learned to play this roller fucking golf game, and he was actually good at real golf too. But he became one of the best in the world at this roller golf game. He's flying all over the world, playing in tournaments. He met this old woman, way older than him. I looked at the picture. I was like, oh my God, Evan used to kill it with every girl. And now you're with this old-ass woman, man? I was like, I guess he just fucked enough girls, and now he just wants mom to take care of him. But my God, that's exactly what it is. 20-year-older woman, I guarantee it, just mom. Mama's boy. Oh my God, man, but... yeah, it's just dependency, man, and it's just like, come on, man, come on. But dependency, it's not good. You got to learn to go out there and literally lace up your own boots, take care of yourself, not rely on others. If you fuck something up, not be begging for money from others. I got to be honest. There's somebody in this community who I respect a lot, and I've been thinking about helping them out, and the old me would have helped them a long time ago, and they probably think I'm a little bit of an asshole right now. But they made some really dumb bets recently and did everything I told them not to do, and never go put the whole house on it and put yourself in a bad spot. But they made some really dumb bets recently, and then they were asking for me to bail them out. And I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I'm still thinking about it. But I want him to go help himself, because I didn't put him in the hole he's in. And, you know, it's just like, man, I mean, you got to make responsible decisions. You're a growing man. Don't blame me for that shit. I never told you to go out and do that. And I said to him, I even said, dude, just the other day, you could have made the same bet off those 3 underdogs, and you'd be rich as fuck right now. I don't know why you put all that money down. Because the day before that, there was a 3-team parlay that I put out there that was huge underdogs. It paid 35 to 1, and it came through. He could have been rich the day before, and he put the same amount of money down on that. Instead, he decided to put it down on some NFL games where the NFL, like I'd even been telling people, it's inconsistent and dangerous this year. Something's off. And then he wants me to give him the money, man. I mean, I feel bad, but it's like, dude. And if you don't have any money right now, you definitely shouldn't be gambling anyway. You should never make your living off gambling. I know some people in this community are doing it because they're really good with the knowledge, but man, don't be relying on other people. Don't put yourself in a situation where you need somebody else to help you out. You know? Never. Never. Be responsible. Be smart. When it comes to money, be modest. Realize government tells you all the opposite. Go out. Jump out of a fucking plane. Pay $500 for the thrill of a lifetime. Get a loan. Go get another loan. Eat some junk food that's going to jeopardize your health. Here, we'll make it real cheap for you by subsidizing it with your tax money. We'll take your money, make junk food really cheap, shit that'll kill you so you'll come back and get hooked on our pharmaceuticals. You'll need them to save yourself from all the disease and illness you'll get from eating this junk food. Again, it's all because of the authority, and no one thinks, and no one knows anything, and all they do is believe and trust. Been telling people about junk food my whole life, and people said, Zach, if that was true, the government wouldn't allow it. Just like how they have the no marijuana commercial, because marijuana is bad for you. It's like, okay, asshole, it's cannabis. It's not bad for you. The government doesn't want you to smoke it because it'll open your fucking mind, and they want you to go eat that junk food, so you'll be a fat slob like the rest of your dumb fucking countrymen, and then you'll be sick and in their hospitals, and then you'll be dead, but you'll have made $1 gazillion for these for-profit health care companies. Oh, man. Okay. How long have I been going for? I got a lot to rant about, so. Can I see a timer somewhere here? I've been ranting for over 2 hours. That's amazing. That is amazing. And, you know, there's another person in this community who I invested a lot of time in, and they've done nothing to help out. They've just turned the knowledge on its head and turned it into something stupid. And recently they made a dumb video about me. And in that video, they're like, they said something about how I rant like it was a problem. And it's like, okay, dude, if you're not angry about the world and what's going on, especially right now in 2020, and you're taking a shot at me for ranting about how fucked up things are. And by the way, he's another Jesus believer. He always says this in his videos. He's like, someday I'll tell you guys about the day I had my talk with Jesus. He's been saying that for like 3 years now, and I'm just like, okay, you say that just randomly in your videos for like 3 years now? Is there ever gonna be the day where you talk about the talk you had with Jesus? And that's why I feel like even he's full of shit. It's like, I'm questionable. I don't even want to say who his name is, but I'm questionable. That guy's just so questionable to me. I know he's in one of the Jesuit towns too. I'm starting to get more suspicious, but yeah, it's just like, again, he just sounds like you're full of shit. For 3 years, you're saying you're going to tell people about the day that Jesus came to you, and now that's why you believe in it? Okay, how long do we have to wait? Jesus is going to return before you tell this story. But again, probably the reason he doesn't want to tell the story is probably because it sounds like a load of bullshit, like almost everything else that comes out of his mouth, sadly. I mean, he tells a story about how a friend of his father died at a metalworking plant on the day the Cubs win the World Series, and that's proof of God to him. I'm just like, what the fuck does this story have to do with anything? What you're saying doesn't make any sense. A friend's dad died on the day the Cubs won the World Series by the numbers, and now you know, like, all... It's just... Okay. Again, this is why I'm not persuaded by religious people. I just feel like when they're talking, I'm getting dumber. And again, just like when people start talking to me about why they believe in government or this political party or they believe in this bullshit virus, anytime I listen to any of this shit, it just makes me want to pull out my baseball bat and go to work, if you know what I mean. Because again, I'm telling you, man, a lot of these people on this planet, and that's my other thing too. I mean, one of the 10 commandments is thou shalt not kill, and to date I've definitely obeyed that in terms of human lives. I accidentally hit a bunny one time in a car, and I hit a little bird one time, and I felt really bad about both those things, especially the bunny. Oh my God, he just hopped right out of the bushes, just right as my car was coming. I was like, oh! It was, oh man, I just felt bad. I mean, the bunny was just hopping. It just felt like I hit a... I can't remember his name, but right from Bambi, I felt like I ran over the bunny from Bambi. But anyway, I mean, thou shall not kill. What I was going to say is, like, I'm ready to go to war, man. I realize there needs to be a war. You give me a room full of Anthony Fauci, Bill Gates, these goon politicians, these people leading these terrorist pharmaceutical companies. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm Xing that 10 commandment out. Some work needs to be done because God isn't getting it done, is the way I feel. These evil fucking people gotta go, man. If they don't go, then all they do is make the world a place where everyone suffers. Like every Christian thinks it's supposed to be because it's written in their book. We should all just suffer here and wait for the return of the sun. I'm telling you, you guys have been waiting for the return each day. It's been passing you by every single day. When it rises tomorrow, you're going to get up and do something? Probably not. It's easier to just believe in bullshit. And I guess that's the problem. The authorities made it so easy to live in this world and just believe in bullshit and collect a check. I mean, how many deadbeat nobodies are there in this world who've never lifted a finger and just collect a check? Some people, maybe they... That's where we get into another topic, but... I mean, they've built this dependent society, these welfare collectors. I come from a poor community, but you know what? We were never on welfare. That's why I don't respect it. And that's why it confuses me about my mom. My mom always wants to go help out every poor person, and it's like, Mom, don't you realize what's different about them and you? You got up and worked every fucking day of your life for jack shit. They don't get up and fucking do anything. They go and collect a check, go to the Christmas fund so that all their gifts can be donated to them. These people are fucking lazy. That's why they don't have anything. That's why they're begging for somebody like you who doesn't have anything either. My mom, as crazy and evil as she is, man, she does like to be generous and help out people. It's real weird. It's like, Mom, you know it'd be better for the world than going out and helping some lazy bum fucking family that's probably going to throw all that shit away in a month? Is actually going out and being nice to people each day, something you never do. My mom, she's angry and rude to everyone, man. She ruins everyone's fucking day. It's the sad truth. She's like a human hurricane. But then every year when these holidays roll around, she wants to go out and buy hundreds of dollars for poor people that ask for shit. Why? That's not fucking happiness. My mom's so programmed and mind controlled, it just drives me nuts. Every year I say, don't buy me anything. Then she buys like 20 socks and 10 new underwear and some ugly-ass shirt. And it's like, God, Mama, I need another closet to put all the fucking socks in here. I don't need any more socks or underwear. She's programmed. She feels like she has to buy something for Christmas, even though every year it annoys me. And she's like, can't you just say thank you? Because every year I just say, Mom, I said I didn't want anything. It's like the 20th straight year of saying I don't want anything. You know? It's more like 25 years, and now that I think about how old I am, I haven't wanted anything since I was 12 years old. I started to see how bullshit everything was. I started to realize, too, I was like, this stuff doesn't make anybody happy. Nobody's happy. Everyone's fighting. Everyone's angry, upset. The only ones happy are these companies selling us a bunch of shit. Selling us some more shit. Companies, authority. It's all related. It's all related. All right, Truth Seeker. Let me see. What time is it? 3:08. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take 22 minutes of phone calls, and then I got to go do something else. I was planning to rant for 30 minutes, not 2 hours and 30 minutes. Okay, hold on. Okay, if you want to call in, it's the number on the screen. 509-560-4982, 509-560-4982. And I guess I can check in with the chat too. Let's see. Well, we got our first call here. Caller?
Hello, Zach. Happy solstice.
Oh, yeah, it is the winter solstice and the Great Conjunction. How you doing?
It's the grand conjunction, and it's the winter solstice, and I'm groovy. Thanks for asking. It's Laura. I've called in before with weird stuff, and people are like, next caller. So I figured I'd do it again real quick.
Sure.
But in a more positive way.
Sure.
And my only reason was calling today was, you know, there's the masterminds behind it all, behind everything that's going on in our life right now as we speak. And so the reason I was calling is today is one of the most important days for us as human beings, put all our differences aside, whatever we are, whoever we are, and imagine and focus on and picture the world we want and not the world that is, because what today is a day that is bringing in the next 20 years. That's what it's setting the stage for. And as you know, they, the powers that be, know this. So all they want to do is get people fired up today. Today is the day. I mean, there's a lot of, like, it does the energy leading up to today, and then that energy after today. I mean, it is amping up. So I think I saw it in the chat too, but it's really, really big that, like, we can manifest what we want, but we can also manifest what they want. We can manifest good, or we can manifest evil. We can feel angry.
So let's think about that. Let's think about the reality of what you're saying. So the reality of what you're saying is people's minds are controlled by the mainstream overwhelmingly. That's why their bullshit's always being manifested, because it is true. Mind, the power of the mind. That's what's taught in Hermeticism. The mind is everything. The mind is everything, and people's minds are all polluted with this bullshit. So everyone's constantly manifesting their bullshit. So we can have all these feel-good thoughts and all this, but all that's bullshit too, because nothing's gonna change until you overthrow this authority and this news. So I get tired of people coming here with, I'm not saying you're doing this, but I just hate when people leave a comment of, like, Zach, I just heard from this channel, Jesus is arriving next month and everything's about to turn over and it's going to be a golden age. It's like, get the fuck out of here. That's not even anywhere near where we are. So until everyone stands up and rises up, there's not going to be any kumbaya nowhere near it. It's just going to be more and more bullshit.
No one's holding hands and no one's playing kumbaya around the campfire at the moment. And I agree with you, where it's like, we can say, yes, love and light, blah fucking blah, right? Like, yes, it's super easy to say, well, if we just focus on this positive shit, it's got to happen at some point. No, I agree. There are powers that need to be taken down. So in the point, my whole point of this call is, I think a lot of times, I think everyone really believes in what you say, or in How Do You Not, if you read your book. And they understand that what you're talking is real. And everything that comes out of your mouth is with passion. And so many people take it the wrong way. They take it with, like, what you're saying is coming out with, like, anger and rage. And all that is fuel for a better tomorrow. That's what you're doing. You're fueling everyone. And when people take it the wrong way, then they're just not ready to hear it. That's where they're at. My thing is, we all have to, at some point, look at ourselves. And I know this sounds ridiculous because everything's happening outside of us. But really, if you look at it from a psychological level, if you look at it from a human level, if you look at it from a consciousness level, we are all creating this in our minds, with our hearts, with our thoughts, with our what we believe, right? So it really starts with us. So yeah, I can say love and light and blah fucking blah. I don't mean it like that. All I mean is focus on yourself and love yourself, no matter how bad you want to hate yourself, no matter how bad everyone out there tells you you're worthless or you're a piece of shit or you'll never amount to anything or you're a fat slob or whatever it is that people tell you. Don't believe it. Just for once, just give it this today, this one day. Just believe in yourself harder than you've ever believed in yourself. Just take this energy that the earth is bringing and send it in a forward, on a positive direction, and let it be shot off into the universe in your heart, knowing that you are here for a reason and you're worthy of this life. And it doesn't make sense right now because we're watching a world full of horse shit and shots and people being forced to do things against their will, and everyone feels helpless. And that is where that's where it gets tough. I know you have this, like, passion and this everything that you have in your heart that comes out every time, and you just get so mad at people for the GMOs and for treating our bodies bad and for, the things that we do to ourselves that in the long run we know are harmful.
Well, what I'm really mad about, though, is that just everybody has marched to the tune of tyranny. They haven't seen the lies for what they are. They don't see where being led. They still don't see it. So at this point, I'm like, these people are more worthless than manure, and I know I'm right about that, as harsh as that is to say, but these people are a fucking anchor dragging the entire world to the bottom of the endless pit. And again, it's just, what do you do about these worthless people? I've been saying for years we need to turn them into fertilizer. I don't think I'm wrong. Do you think I'm wrong about that?
No, I think that really what I was saying about where it comes to a choice where, you wake up every day and we have a choice, and you look at these evil people and you wonder, how do they wake up and choose to do the evil they do every day, knowing what they're doing is a ritual that's going to literally take someone's life, or at least to us, make it look like somebody's being killed, or make it look like somebody's dying, or bring down the vibration of society, because they're putting this crap out there on the TV and the mainstream media, whatever it is. They're doing it to bring our vibes down. So as much as we can start to realize that it's not just these evil, soulless bodies, I don't believe everything here on this planet is human and natural, and I don't believe that everyone is operating from the same place. So what I mean by that is I don't think we're all like, look at you and look at me. I don't think everyone's like us. I don't think everyone's organic, real.
I hear what you're saying. You're saying, so those of us who are awake, we need to raise our vibration. We need to empower ourselves. We need to realize we can be the change we want to see in the world. I agree with all that, but all these deadweight people, what do we do about them?
Well, that's what I'm saying. These people also that are deadweight or think in their mind, like, as far as the mind control goes,
you have to realize in 2020, there's a lot of humanity that's deadweight. Nothing is ever going to wake them up. Nothing. They could listen right now. Have you seen these stories that the news is putting out there, where it says most people right now are catching COVID in their own house? CNN had this as a feature story 5 days ago. Most people are getting coronavirus in their own house. Imagine if that story told these people, but imagine if this story told these same people that what they need to do now is go live outside as a homeless person under the underpass. How many of them would march out there under the underpass?
Well, that's a valid point.
A lot if the news told them to. A lot. The point is, that's what, okay. I appreciate your call. You like to talk a lot. I appreciate it. I got your message. Thank you so much. You have a good day. I don't want her to eat up the whole 20 minutes because I said I'm here for 20 minutes. She wants to call in and talk the whole 20 minutes. Okay, what you're saying is not that interesting. Yes, everyone needs to raise their vibration. They're trying to hold us down. No shit. But what the fuck are we doing about all these sorry-ass motherfuckers holding us down? That's my question. She doesn't have an answer. Caller?
Hi there. Hi. I was just calling to say that I had noticed one of my friends was watching a show and I was listening to it, but that the rapper, I guess this is for you and for Jonathan when you guys talk next, but there's a rapper, Joel Santana. I was just calling to let you know that his name is LeBron James.
His real name?
So his real name is LeBron. Instead of a B, it's a V like Victor. James.
Okay. It's funny. My sister's longtime boyfriend, who was like my big brother growing up, way before LeBron James was famous, his name was LaRon. So I grew up with a LaRon. So and he loved basketball. And he's a very good basketball player himself. But okay, LeBron James. Yeah. Okay. All right.
He's 38 years old right now. His birthday, 39th, is February 18th, I think. And so I went on to Gematria Effect News and I had typed in 218. I think whatever his birthday is, I typed that in on your page, and you had one as recently as May, and it was some post on there with LeBron James and in those numbers. So
interesting. I'll go back and look at that.
All right, that's all.
All right, appreciate it. All right, thank you. I think she's making the point that he might want to look out in light of what happens with LeBron and celebrities going off by the numbers. What's up, caller? Hello? Well, that was just static, and then they hung up. I think the point she's making is we know about how many celebrities dropped dead in connection to LeBron. His name's so similar to LeBron that maybe he's one we might have to look out for. Well, LeBron's got a couple more championships coming here, so that means there's a lot of celebrities that need to look out. Okay. We got 11 more minutes until 3:30. I said I'm going until 3:30. I see everyone's calls going directly to voicemail right now. That's the thing about these Google voice numbers. Sometimes it does this glitch where it just starts sending everyone's call to voicemail. Hold on. Let's try this again. I'm resetting the system here. Okay, reset. Let's see if that works. Okay. My blood pressure is probably still lower than any of you in the chat. It's funny, Sweet Lady had to, one of their things they're having to do for school right now is take people's blood pressure. So she was practicing on me all day yesterday. Last night when I said I was going to come back, instead I was on the couch getting my blood pressure taken for like 2.5 straight hours. It was longer than this rant. because she kept believing that my blood pressure couldn't possibly be that low. And I said, it's my blood pressure. I said, trust me, the doctor's joke has always been about me since I was a kid, that if my blood pressure was any lower, I'd be dead. And they always told me that's a good thing. But I bet you even right now, ranting and all, the blood pressure is just chilling. Every call's going straight to voicemail, you guys. I don't know. For any of you guys who keep, there was a few live streams ago where I put out my own number, my actual number, and then a lot of you guys think you're my best friend now, so you call me all the time. If any of you guys have that number right now, I suppose you can try to call me on it since I'm doing the live stream, but please don't call me on that number unless I'm doing a show. I'm not trying to answer the phone all the time, you guys, but it was my fault for even putting it out there. It's just like, oh shit, we're doing a live stream and he asked for my number. What do I do? Well, don't do what I did. No. You know what? I guess this is a sign we're not supposed to take calls right now. I guess I'll just look at the chat. What's going on in the chat? Somebody's talking in code. I don't know what that means. I'm sneaking and geeking? That must be something that you... Oh, now the phone works again. That must be the cool kids phrase. I don't know what that means. Caller, what's up? You gotta mute your video.
Okay. Yeah, I was just typing in the chat that it was ringing. That was ringing after trying a couple times. What's up, Gematria fam? Happy great conjunction. Happy secret society ritual sacrifice day, and whatever the fuck else is going on in the dark corners of this fucking weird ass ball we live on, or flat plane, or whatever the fuck it is. What do I got here? Got a couple riddles in regard to So, grand conjunction, mass awakening, and mass conjunction both equal 47.
I don't think they call it the mass conjunction, though. Did you say mass conjunction?
They don't call it mass conjunction, but I mean, the word itself is, they kind of mean the same thing, no? Grand mass. Same concept, same idea. Mass awakening, mass conjunction both equal 47. December 21st equals 47 in reverse ordinal. Thought that was interesting. As far as in regards to the conjunction, that's all I really got. But
well, I was gonna hear about your. I never realized that. So you're saying if you write out the words December 21st, it equals 47?
I believe. Was it the word or was it just? I think so. Yeah, I think it was.
Well, that's true. The thing that is interesting about that is the solstices are measured by the tropics of this Earth, which are 47 degrees apart, and time equals 47. So I'll have to check that out. That is a little bit interesting.
Okay. Say that one more time. I'll go back to the video.
The tropics of the Earth, the Tropic of Capricorn, the Tropic of Cancer, they're what measure the solstices. It's how they naturally tell time, and they're 47 degrees apart in terms of how they plotted the degrees of this planet and the coordinates. They're 47 degrees apart. It's at the 23.5 degree north and the 23.5 degree south, so 47 degrees of distance, like the word time is 47.
Got it. Yeah, man, but definitely some super interesting energy in the air. Why'd you put Shakespeare back on the screen there?
I had to bring him back. I just have to remind people of the times we live in.
Jesus Christ, this is pure mockery. It's hilarious, man. It's fucking daily comedy on a the world. Like Shakespeare said, the world is a stage. We're all actors, man. Fucking incredible, dude.
It is.
Anyway, I'm going to try to put out a little video on my YouTube is super beginner stage, but if you guys want to check it out, Awakening Consciousness 2020. I put a video up there earlier this year. Never really did shit with the channel. First person I shout out to in that video is actually you, Zach, just telling people to check out your channel and shit. Garnered barely any views, but trying to make something more out of the channel. Next year, I'm going to make a Paradigm Shift 2021 channel and actually try to use it this time. I kind of did like a tech detox this year and try to just learn more truth. I stumbled on, I shouldn't say I stumbled on Gematria, but I realized the importance of Gematria. I think I stumbled on you maybe in 2019, 2018 and pushed it off and didn't really get it, you know what I mean, so to speak. And now I get it, you know what I mean? I understand that it is literally the matrix code that governs the very fabric, the weave, the web that's woven into the into this tower structure and system, and every facet of this fucking of this existence of this whatever it is, simulation, whatever the fuck it really is. It's so beyond our scope of perception or fathomability, and that's why I think next year if there will be a paradigm shift. I think this year was a lot of people were able to step outside of the system and see certain things for what they were, and maybe of course a lot of people just as more people, really, many more people got pulled that much more into the fucking matrix and belief in the political theater and all this shit, religious theater, I'm sure too, and everything else. But I think next year, when people start dropping like flies, like they already are from these fucking death jabs, maybe people will, unfortunately that's what it might take, like you're saying about the fertilizer. I mean, maybe there does need to be some fertilizer for this fucking soil to get some nutrients again, since it's so depleted from all the fucking barium, strontium, aluminum they're spraying every day.
Truly.
But,
Truly.
Anyway, I don't want to hold up the line. I want to see what else people.
Let me let this guy get in. He's a veteran. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the shout out too. Have a good one, man. What's up, man?
What's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing good. Nice rant there.
Was it? It felt very I gotta admit, you guys, I told you I was out of the goodie box. That's because Sweet Lady wouldn't let me smoke the blunt. I was gonna give it. I'm sorry, Tim, if you're out there. I was gonna give it to Tim, but she let me take the weed out of the blunt and smoke the blunt. So anyway, I did smoke weed, and then
you couldn't have a fatty.
Well. The tobacco paper. She hates the smell, and the tobacco paper's too much. But anyway, the point was, I smoked a little bit, and I would have been fine if I just came in. But when I came in from the garage after smoking, the Joe Biden shot was up on the screen, and I didn't know they were going to do it. And I'm telling you, when I just saw the Joe Biden shot at 3:22, it just messed up my head. I'm like, how is it 2020 and people still don't know what they're doing with this mockery? Did you see what I showed? How they gave him the shot right at 3:22 on the nose? Oh my God, I'm telling you, that moment fucked up this video.
Right in your face.
It fucked up this video because my head was just all wrecked from that. I was like, how am I still having to convince people that they're doing shit by the numbers when they're doing this right on TV? How does nobody know what 322 means in this nation in light of 2004 having been part of our history? So.
Well, to answer that question very briefly, people are overloaded with information, and behind that, they're overloaded with fear. There's a term called availability heuristic bias, and that means that they often go for the simplest explanation. It's like it's the paradox of Occam's razor. It's when Occam's razor is false. Okay, so you default to the easiest explanation of things, and that becomes your bias, but you think it's right. So people are not going to question things. They're like, oh, it can't be that way, or no, it's not that way.
Right. That is. It couldn't be that way. Government wouldn't do that to us.
Right. Exactly. That's called an availability heuristic bias. It's a real.
That's what everyone's got. That's what the useless fertilizers got.
Yeah. Or in short terms, you'll see it referred to as availability bias. Okay.
Here, before we go any further, I'm making this rule for you and everyone else. Before we go any further, what do we do about all these dead weight people? We got to do something. What is the solution?
Well, here's what I wanted to address. You're getting all worked up about, you got to focus on the people you can change, not the people you can't.
There's not enough of us. There's not enough of us.
No. Well, there's two things.
I got up to 4,400 people who found this work worth $1 a month. Come on, man. We can't do shit.
Yeah.
Jake Tapper gets $1 million a month to go on CNN. Jake Tapper makes $1 million a month, you guys. Imagine if we had Jake Tapper money. We could fucking lead the revolution.
Yeah, but they're using technology behind their broadcast called psychotronics. You're not. Okay? Literally, they are.
But I don't, you know what? Even though they use all this shit, and I know they do, I'm not arguing with you, it's fucking garbage, man. It shouldn't fool anybody. It shouldn't be enough to beat anybody.
But you understand something. They have to use that to psychologically and mentally entrain the people to watch. It's real mind control. And I tell people the same way they go, oh, no. Listen, I've been studying this stuff for 25 years. Like, oh, it can't be. Oh, yes, it is. I know the technology. I know how they do it. I know what brainwaves they hook to. They literally hypnotize you in front of. If you sit in front of a TV, you are being hypnotized. Period. End of story. No matter what you watch.
Again, for people who doubt that's true, I know it's true. Anybody who works at a group home that allows TVs will know that that's true, because you'll see the children with the most severe behavior disorders in your community that will blow your mind. And there's not a horse pill in the medicine cabinet that can chill those kids out, but they get in front of the TV. Oh my God. It's like, wow, look at that, man. The TV is something else. It is the ultimate drug.
It's the ultimate drug. And they know it, man. And it's gone way high tech, way beyond what it was 25 years ago. And even 25 years ago, they had some elements of the technology. But you can't, unless people are going to. Here's the key: it's not necessarily sitting in front of the TV. It's the ability to access the higher cognitive functions of your mind at a moment's notice. Now, I can do that. I've been able to do that throughout my whole life. Obviously, you have to do that. I'm surprised you even went through 4 years of college and got a master's. I dropped out of college. I knew it was BS from day one.
6 years of college with a master's, man. 6.
Yeah, 6 years, and you paid for that. Okay.
I did. My bill was very small compared to most people's, and I never had any debt. So
that's good, because you were responsible. But I knew they were teaching. I had one professor tell me something like, no, and I had to prove it to her the next one. I said, I'm not paying $55,000 for this. No way. You're teaching me lies. So you can't help the people who do not want to be woken up. Why get angry about it? You got to help the people who want to be woken up in the way they want to be woken up through your work.
I don't know if you're hearing what I'm saying. I'm honestly asking people, are you willing to stand as an army and get rid of these fucking people and do whatever needs to be done to overthrow this tyranny? Because that's what it's going to take. And I don't hear anyone answering that question. That's why I feel like I'm a one-man army.
Yeah, well, here's the other thing. Forget about the people who are and I agree with you a lot. A lot of people who say they're Christians, they don't manifest the fruits of the Spirit. Okay, that's love, joy, peace, kindness, long suffering. That's the standard. Okay, the people who do manifest those fruits of the Spirit, who are converted, they're real Christians. The other ones, don't get angry about them. Just call them out like you do without, letting them get your goat. Because they're really not worth it. Okay, and you've identified them anyway. Okay.
Well, I'm trying to do more than that. I'm trying to get people to see that, am I wrong? Is religion the basis of everything that's wrong? I think that is the truth.
No, it's not. It's believing the wrong thing. It's like saying...
Who teaches you to do that?
Hold on a second. You think what you believe, but do you believe what you think? Now, I just gave you a color of a mirror image of something. You think something, but you believe what you think, and no one can question that. But you also think what you believe, and no one can question that. You see how that works?
Sort of,
right.
but again, to me, it's what gets you to believe in bullshit is religion, and then people just go through the whole experience just believing bullshit and not questioning it because that's the first thing that they're taught.
You can reality test anything, okay? And people have forgotten how to do that. Reality test is something is true, it corresponds to what is true, but you gotta know what truth is. All right. For some people, it means going.
Can a man live inside a big fish? Can a man live inside a big fish?
According to the book of Jonah, that did happen for 3 days and 3 nights.
Right.
Okay, but something. There are a lot of other weird things that happened, like an immaculate conception. Okay.
And did that really happen?
Now, did God create the world in 6 days and rest on the seventh day?
Probably
did that
not.
Really happen?
Probably not. But hey, I wasn't here. I don't know.
Oh, you don't know. But listen, in your situation, you're saying I don't know. Okay, that's different from saying that's different from saying taking a position like saying I know it didn't happen. Okay, you're being intellectually honest. I can accept that. I don't understand why other people who would tend to disagree with you get all hot and bothered. You're taking a position based on an opinion, what you think and what you believe. Okay, that's different. But you also, in other words, I can't. No one who can rail against you if you're just all you're offering is your opinion. That's it.
And to remind people, opinions aren't worth shit, And when it comes to talking about religion, it mostly is my opinion because that's all you can do with religion. It's all based on a bunch of stuff that nobody really knows. So that's why, in my opinion, is why are we wasting our time with this bullshit and why are we teaching our children bullshit that we don't know if it's true? Is it not setting them up for the life of accepting bullshit, which everyone's doing in this society where almost everyone's also raised Christian? Christianity is the foundation of American culture.
I will say this, Zach. I will say this. There is objective value. There are certain things that are right and certain things that are wrong, okay? And even you have alluded to that, okay?
Of course.
The golden rule is a summation of the Ten Commandments. Love God with all your heart and all mind, love your neighbor as yourself.
The Ten Commandments is full of shit. The Ten Commandments has truth in it, but it's mostly full of shit. Do I need to put it up on the screen?
I'll tell you this much. You take it up with the author of that and see how far that gets you, okay? Seriously, okay? Do you believe you should honor your parents? Do you believe you should...
It all depends. It all depends. So here, as children, so I worked with children. I worked with children who grew up in families where their parents literally pimped them out as children and let them get fucked by adults and all sorts of shit. Should they honor their parents?
Should you steal?
No. Don't avoid my question. Should they honor their parents? The parents who raped their own children and pimped out their own children. Should they honor their parents?
You can honor your parents by absolving all bonds with them.
Again, so that's what the point I'm making is. I'm not saying you shouldn't honor your parents, even if they did pimp you out. They're your parents. You're the reason they're here. But still, the point is, there's that religion's too absolute. The world is not absolute. Thou shalt not kill. Okay, I'm gonna practice thou shalt not kill, and I'm gonna let this psychopath murder my daughter, my wife, my whole fucking family because I'm a good Christian and I'm thou shalt not kill.
That's a righteous right to self-defense. That's not prohibited in the Bible.
Look at the first 10 commandments. Here, I want to read the 10 commandments for people who don't know. The first one, you shall have no other gods before me. You know where that rule can go? Number 1, straight to fucking hell because that rule's fucking bullshit. You shall not make idols. Probably a good advice. Too many people do idolize way too many people. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. You know where that rule can go? Straight to hell. Because who gives a fucking shit, man? These rules are bullshit. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Who gives a fucking shit? These are not important values to anybody. Honor your father and your mother. Probably true, except for in the case of you're a group home child because your parents fucking rape you, which happens. You shall not murder. You know what? I think that's mostly a good rule. But, like I just said, if a psychopath's in your house killing everybody, are you supposed to stay there and just say, okay, I'm waiting until my head gets sliced off too? You shall not commit adultery. Yeah, probably. That's probably a good rule. But still, there's a lot of shit that's not on here that should be here.
Why are you cherry picking? I mean,
Where are better rules? Shouldn't the first rule be the golden rule? Treat other people the way you want to be treated. That's not even on here.
No, but what's that based off of? You're talking about, you're trying to do it a priori based on the principle. There's no a priori.
I'm making my point about how bullshit religion is, man. How bullshit religion is. That's the point I'm making. The 10 Commandments are fucking bullshit. These rules are stupid. I'm not saying everything on here is stupid, but half these rules are worthless. And where's the most important rules that should be there? You shall have no other gods before me. How do we even know there's one God? This jealous pussy-ass God? This is a bullshit God. See, man, listen, I respect you because you're a veteran caller, but you also call in here with a lot of bullshit, in my opinion. You call in with a lot of bullshit. You were on all this Trump Q bullshit. It's not going to be Biden. The Supreme Court's going to overturn it. The 10 Commandments are the truth. Someday you're going to come to Jesus. I feel like you're more in the bullshit, way more in the bullshit than I am. And you want to call in here. Oh, you hung up. You know what? Honestly, he's a veteran and he seems mature, but he mostly calls in with bullshit. And he hung up. So maybe no more bullshit. That's okay. Enough people want to call in anyway. What's up, caller?
What is up? I'm a first-time caller, but I've been listening to you for like 5 years now. And I just want you to address flat earthers. Not like...
It's another religion. It's a religion. I hate it. It's another religion. Oh my God, I don't want to say anymore.
Thank you. Because I know a lot of people in the chat, when I watch it, are so caught up in trying to debate flat earth. And it's like, wow. it's just shocking. So it's like, how are they watching you and still not only thinking it, but believing it? And then, like, acting upon that. So, I mean, like, you could address it a little further, but, like, wow. I mean, it's shocking to me. That's all I'm going to say.
The flat Earth destroyed the momentum of this work in 2015 because it was going somewhere for a minute until 2015 when the flat Earth came. And then what happened is half my followers were like, "Hey, Zach, do you think the Earth's flat?" And I was like, "God, everyone's watching these flat Earth videos, huh?" And then I respond, I say, not really, because I couldn't explain a sunset. Wow, then a whole paragraph would be written. "Oh, you fucking shill! You're denying that the Earth is flat?" It's just like, whoa, I've been to the beach and watched the sunset, man. I can't explain that shit on a flat Earth. And I just realized from there, I was like, look at this. Everyone's just going to abandon the work because all of a sudden people are saying the Earth's flat and I don't agree? God, I mean, the new religion. So, I don't have anything else to say about it, man. That's all it's ever been, just another divider.
I know, and I can't believe it's this deep into us, like, essentially being along this journey, because
here. You wanted me to say one more thing about the flat Earth. I've offended so many people over the flat Earth, but the flat Earth, what I was ranting about in 2015, as I said, this is more proof of just how fucking dumb people are. Here I am given like the dopest knowledge, real shit, and now I got people going against me because I don't think the Earth's fucking flat? Why does this fucking matter? And like I was saying in 2015, I said if we don't organize and see who's working against us and what's coming next, we're going to be getting our fucked up our ass while we're arguing about what shape the Earth is. Here we are.
Oh yeah, 5 years, I mean, yeah.
That's when the flat Earth thing took off, the summer of 2015, for whatever reason. Everyone was into the flat Earth, 2015. It's 5 years later.
It's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, I'm glad you addressed it because I honestly, like, I've been, like, waiting to see somebody call in or somebody just, like, have you absolutely destroy anybody listening to you that believes in flat Earth. Because, like, Jesus, like, a lot of people I feel like who watch you, who do believe in flat Earth, are like, yeah, Zach. They love you. And it's like, guys, do you realize Zach absolutely hates you? Like,
well, here's the reality of that. Here's the reality of that. I don't hate them. I try to tell them that this is bullshit and not something to waste their time with, but the thing is, like, there's not enough people who are awake and looking for answers, and the sad reality is that half the people in this community have become flat earthers, if not more than half, and it's like, well, fuck, if, it's like, the flat earther, most of them hate me. The people who hate me are the Jesus freaks and the flat earthers, and there's been a million videos made about why I'm a shill, because I don't believe in Jesus, and I don't think the earth's flat, and I don't want to argue about the shape of the earth, but it's just like, I don't hate them. For case in point, the guy I call King Henry here in Yakima, his whole garage is flat earth maps. He's into the flat earth, but I always tell him I don't think the earth's flat. But I don't hate him because he's into the flat earth. But at the same time, and the funny thing is about Henry, and if Henry, if you're out there listening, man, I'm not trying to shit on you or anything, but Henry O'Leven's, when I try to debate the flat earth with Henry, what his response to me is, "You're smarter than me, I don't want to argue about it." And I say, oh, come on, Henry, come on, entertain me with the flat earth. But he won't debate me on the flat earth, even though he believes it's flat, so.
Yeah, and that says enough right there. And, yeah, it's just, like, shocking to me that, I mean, so many people still do follow you, and they're like, well, I believe you on this, and I totally see this, but, like, Zach, you're wrong. The earth is so flat. Like, if you just wake up to that reality, like, you will get it. Like, it'll all make sense.
Oh, yes. If the earth was flat, all of our problems would be solved. Everything would be solved if we could just agree the earth was flat, and then we could all wear our face diapers and get fucked up the ass by the Jesuits and the government in peace, if we could just all agree that it was flat. I know, man. The flat earthers make me want to... Honestly, if I've ever come close to suicide in my life, it was from watching a flat earth video. So, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, same. Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad I got to get a hold of you and just definitely have you address that. And yeah, so just keep doing your thing. I'm going to keep watching, so.
All right, man. All right, appreciate it. Later, man. Caller?
Yo, you forgot a religion.
Well, there I didn't mention 1,000+ religions.
No, it's a religion. People don't like to say it's a religion, but it's a religion. You know what it is?
What is it? Tell me.
Science.
Well, science shouldn't be religion, but in this world, science is religion. They keep it in the realm of belief and bullshit. That's good, and we see how that is. It's just like the Jesuits. Because, see, that's what it is. Whoever controls the voice of humanity controls what everything is, what religion is, what science is. Well, right now, what do they say science is? Science is putting a face diaper on. That's what science is. And you even hear Anthony Fauci saying this, who 6 months ago said wearing a mask will do absolutely jack shit. But now the science is wear a mask. So science isn't supposed to be religion, but because the religious control science, because science refutes a lot of their bullshit, so they realize they have to control the thing that exposes them, which is exactly what's done, science has been made into bullshit too. But science should not be bullshit. And I would argue that my work is some of the most scientific shit on the planet, because I came here with a theory, and I've been proving that theory ice cold for 7 years straight.
Yeah, I mean, all the scientists, it's like well, now you have to believe. Believing is not science. Believing is religion. But science is doing an experiment. Science is proving a point. Science is, what I do in the garage. But the science is, believe in Einstein. Believe in, the math. Believe in what the news is telling you that some scientists figured out. Scientists, well, you probably haven't seen this, but they said that they built some stupid supercomputer and that the computer was going into other dimensions and grabbing things and bringing them back into our dimension to solve problems. This is total bullshit. And people are too stupid to understand what anything means because they're totally fucking retarded. It's like, and then, the flat earth thing. If you denounce flat earth, you're for NASA. That's like, first thing, what's that stupid guy, fucking Mag Truth? YouTuber, some stupid island person who probably has zero education. This man, he's pro-NASA because he said that the earth is round. It's like, no, you're just a fucking moron. You don't know anything about the world you live in, and when somebody else does know more, then you just say they're NASA. You're completely retarded.
Here, let me just stop. The chat's getting all provoked. They're saying, Zach, now you're just regurgitating the school bullshit, celebrating the ball earth. You guys, have you heard the word ball earth come out of my mouth? I'm not making any argument about the shape of the earth. The point I'm making is arguing about the shape of the earth when you're getting fucked up the ass by a terrorist government, which is exactly what we are, whether we realize it or not. When you start arguing about the shape of the earth all of a sudden, instead of trying to undo the lies that are wrecking this fucking world, then you're a fucking moron, which is what I said the whole flat earth movement was. Led by morons, full of morons who don't know what fucking time it is. Because they all thought that, the world was just what it was, and they're just, you guys, these are precious times, important times. It's why I've dedicated my fucking life the last 7 years, because I know what fucking time it is. I knew what time it was when 9/11 happened. I said, if we don't do something about this bullshit, everyone's gonna fucking die. Everyone's gonna get fucked over, man. And most people didn't get that. And most people are here in the truth community dancing around. I learned gematria to connect it to a fucking eclipses, whichever one I can connect it to. And then I'm making a video criticizing Zach and saying, Zach's such an angry, rant-filled person. Yeah, maybe that's because I'm not a metrosexual, cat-loving man who can't get any pussy and cries to me about it. Sorry to air that out there, but sorry, man. I just realized the situation. Ugh! God, it's just like, I'm just so sick of all these fucking people that don't have a clue about anything, from what time we live in to their own sexuality. If you can't get any women, it's probably because you're gay. Sorry, that's a side topic, but I'm addressing one person out there that's really pissing me off lately. What's up, man?
I don't really like most women in this country.
Hey! Here, my sweet lady is from Burma. I've been with a lot of women. I realize the non-American women are where it's at. And shout out to the good American women here, but most American women are just like, oh my God. So I'm telling you, you want to be smart? Get a lady from a foreign land.
Ever a good experience with an American woman ever?
Well, there's some out there, but yeah, a lot are very bad. I hear you, man. It's a polluted species.
And here in my city, it's like there's no southern people. It's like all these stupid asshole northern people. Even though it's Florida, it's all these northern people. And it's just the only good experiences I've ever had is with European women, and they're more beautiful than the women here because the women here are ugly and they're stupid too.
Well, okay, we're going to hurt a lot of people. There's good-looking women here, but again, almost everyone in our society is dumbed down, and you will find that people from other cultures are more smarter and enlightened, and they take better care of their body, and they're not, It's sad how many you look at how many girls in this nation go from, like, fit and attractive at around age 18 to by the time they're 22, 23, they're a fat blob. It's just like, God, I mean, look at the American phenomenon right there. So...
I mean, it's like, yeah, most people are dumb. I've said that in my video. It's like, I mean, I complain about women, but I don't like guys anymore. It's like, I don't date women because I don't like women. So it's here, It's just, I like to be, I'm very picky. So it's like, I like this,
well, be
I like
picky,
that, and
be
if
picky. Be picky, yeah. You got the right woman. Wrong woman will drive you nuts.
Especially the personality thing. Most people my age, they just care about, like, looks. And I mean, I do care about that, but it's like, I care a lot about personality, and so someone has to have both for me, and I guess at my age, it's rare.
Well, yeah, you definitely, it's got to be about more than the physical attraction. They got to be on the intellectually the same level. These are important things for a long-term relationship for it to last. And you're a very young person, so, I mean, you got plenty of time to find the right lady, so.
Yeah, I mean, I hated the stupid whole, the thing that, the damn thing about, like, not traveling and all that stuff, these stupid air companies, it would be great if we had a huge community of people that would say, well, if you're going to make us wear the mask or, the vaccine on the plane, all that stuff, you're going to miss out on however many millions of dollars in service, That's what we need to do.
That's exactly that, but we're not organized as people. But that's how people should be. We should be like, you know what? You're not shutting down my business. Never. This is America. This is freedom. But that's not what the American spirit is anymore. Now the American spirit is a bunch of scared little cowards who follow what authority tells them, and that's it. That's
believe.
Right. But you're right. If everybody just stood up.
Fucking believe in something. It's so stupid.
But
what does believing mean? Believing means that you choose to think something without any evidence. That's what believing means. Believing means that basically you're too stupid to figure it out.
Right. And I'm glad. So listen, this is a 16-year-old calling in. Earlier it was the 40-some-year-old man who's often trying to call and be the contrarian, who was saying that no, religion's not the basis of the bullshit. He's wrong. And it's because he is religious. Religion is the basis of the bullshit, and that man will also tell you that he only woke up so many years ago. He's been asleep all this time. He just recently woke up.
I was raised Christian. My mom's Christian. My dad's atheist, but my mom's Christian. I was raised Christian. Jehovah's Witness. All the people are fucking assholes. They are total assholes. They're just, every time you say bad stuff about Christians, I can completely resonate with that. They're horrible fucking people. Christians are the worst fucking people on this planet.
And again, just because you're being harsh, again, a lot of them are true, and I say the same things, but not all. Let's not blame. But a lot of Christians are really shitty people, and their shitty belief is that they can be shitty, and as long as they believe in their bullshit, then they're going to go to the pearly gates, and that's exactly how they think.
Yeah, they just think that God's going to forgive them because they, believe, and it's like, that's not how it works. Like, what kind of God would do that? It's stupid.
Indeed.
Well, if you do some of these things, if you go preaching, if you preach to people, then you'll be okay. In my situation, some fucking old lady needs to be taking care of some 80-something-year-old dementia lady, and they're giving the lady food that's like giving her problems and all that stuff. They're total assholes to that lady. They don't take care of her at all. I'm pretty much the only person that me and my mom are the only people that take care of her because nobody wants to do it. And it's not because I like the lady. I mean, she's dementia. She's not very nice. I just do it because that's the right thing to do. And they're trying to put her in a home. They're trying to kill the lady because they want her home. You think that these people are gonna, get some like, I don't know, like God's just gonna forget about it. Like, as long as they preach to people, they're going to be okay? No, they're evil people.
Indeed. I hear you, man. There are a lot of people that are just that way. So, and you're doing
That's how most Christians are. And it's like, we try and tell people, the lady, she needs to be taken care of. That lady has a fucking rat problem. I had to go in with a hammer and smash a dead rat's face in with a hammer. You know, it's like nobody is willing to do anything. As long as you preach, oh, that's okay. You know, let the old lady get fucked over. You know, some poor old lady, widow, let her get fucked over. Oh, preach. Oh, believe. Oh, be scared. Take the vaccine.
Well, something I always wonder is when I'm in the city and I watch everybody drive past the homeless person and give them nothing, I just wonder how many of them are Christians that'll go put money in the plate this weekend so they look like good members of their Christian community. And I imagine a lot of people that just drive by the homeless in need every day are Christians, I imagine. So, and the other thing that bothers me about Christians with their holier than thou shit is they think their religion's the best, and then they talk all this shit about Muslims. Do you know in Muslim countries they don't have any homeless people, which is a fact. There's 0 homeless people in Muslim countries, and you know why? Because Muslim person, if they see you homeless, they're going to take you in, whether it doesn't matter what you believe in. Their belief is that they're supposed to take care of somebody in need. And there are no homeless people in Muslim countries. So, but this is factual and true. This is factual and true. There are no homeless people in Muslim countries, and anybody who's been there can tell you that, and Muslims will tell you exactly why that is. And I just know from working in a diverse school district where half the parents are probably a third were Christian and probably 2/3 were actually Muslim because there were so many immigrants in the modern America. But the most dedicated parents, they were all Muslims. And it's not to say, I'm not trying to say Muslims are better than Christians, but at the same time I'm saying when you look at the behaviors, maybe they are. So... any closing remarks?
Yeah, I mean, huh?
Any closing remarks? I got to keep moving on to get other people in here because I'm going to get off here pretty soon.
Yeah. Are you going to put this on Voice of the People?
I might put it over on Voice of the People, but then they might give it a strike too because they already gave me 1 strike on there. So, because they don't let smaller channels get away with the rants as much as they do with the bigger channels. I've noticed that when I'm creating a small channel and putting my older content on there. So, for example, the strike I have on that channel is for a video that still exists on this channel. It's never gotten a strike on this channel, but it got one over there just for uploading it there. So.
Yeah. Yeah, man, we have to do a live stream today. Now, I don't want to do a presentation or anything, you know, just like a Voice of the People thing, you know.
Well, that's kind of what this live stream is. I'm not going to do any more after today. This is going to be the end of today, so I got to work on some other things.
Man.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you calling in. You're the young voice of the community right now, so hang in there, buddy. Appreciate you.
Okay, thanks.
All right, take care, man. See you. He must be at his dad's house. When he's at his mom's house, he's not allowed to follow the work, but when he's at dad's, they watch the videos together, so. All right. What's up, Minnesota?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
What's up?
Hey, I got a couple pretty cool finds that I wanted to show you. Would I be able to send it to your email, and then you can pull it up on the screen?
Which email are you going to send it to?
I have it queued up for Number Games book.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Send it there. Are you sending it right now?
Yep.
All right, hold on. Let's see. Is it Ray Doyle?
No, it'll be, let's see what I called it. I called it Random Finds, James Brown and Cyberpunk 2077.
I see it. Okay, I got it up here now. 54 on the shorts.
Yep. So if you just want to, we can start out with the James Brown album. It's just a screenshot from my iTunes, but I thought it was interesting because it's called Reality, and the eye in the corner, if you look close, is casting light, you know, because it's the sun, and it's making a pyramid over what's happening, you know, to black people. And then if you look at the length of the album, it's 42 minutes long. It was released in 1974.
What else is creepy is it's 9 songs, and when you write out 9 as a word, it equals 42. And I do see that 9 songs, 42 minutes.
Wow. No shit. Man, it's almost like James Brown's trying to, you know, he was trying to put it out there.
1974.
That really is the reality, you know?
Well, I have a feeling it probably wasn't him who designed the album artwork, because again, it seems that the people who control the world of entertainment take these talented people and then kind of introduce them to the occult and get them familiar with some of these concepts. But I don't think it's them that are ultimately pulling the strings. I mean, it could be, but it seems like it's more an industry thing.
Subject matter of these songs, though, Zach. You know, like I mean, the second track is Funky President talking about, you haven't changed a damn thing. You just got a new funky president.
Sure, just like the Who have that song too. Say new president, old president, same as the last one, whatever. Yeah, it's the same concepts all over in the music. But just to remind people again, most of these entertainers, they're the talent, but they're not the ones that are putting out the material that these powerful companies want to reach the people. They're fulfilling the material that the controllers want. Seems to be the way it is. I mean, just look at all these young people that supposedly have all this occult symbols. Like, what 18, 20-year-old knows about any of this shit? How's this on their album or in their song? And it's so true for so many entertainers. Well, it's obviously something about the industry. It's just like Eminem puts out the Darkness album this year, 91 days from his birthday, and Darkness equals 91, and a music video that's in tribute to the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting on the day, leaving 91 days left in the year, that at the end has like FBI thing and asking people to turn in their guns. It's like, do you think that was Eminem's idea to make the Darkness tribute and release it by the numbers? I mean, no way. It's just, you see, they do this with all these entertainers. And it's just like the rapper Nas did the album God's Son, and he sampled the James Brown song, and then I think James Brown died like the next Christmas, and it was synced up with Nas's 33rd birthday, who has God's Son tattooed on his belly. And Nas has all this occult and esoteric knowledge and understanding. So how are all of these entertainers learning about all this occult esoteric knowledge when nobody else in the world seems to know about any of this? It shows you that they get recruited into these industries that are controlled by the cabal, who introduces them to it or uses them for it. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they also call James Brown the Godfather, or the rap Godfather, I think. And
the Godfather of Soul, James Brown.
Yeah. And the rap Godfather. I think he calls himself that on some songs, but yeah, I just thought that album cover was heavily symbolic and probably in reference to the Jesuit order, that the eye is the sun.
Sure.
You know what I mean? All right, so, and then this other thing, if you want to scroll up, I got a screenshot from that brand new game that came out, Cyberpunk 2077, It had like 8 million pre-orders. It was a huge deal. So you're playing through, and you can't change the look of your guy or anything, like you can't change your outfit until you get back to your apartment.
I got to rant and make a point here. Man. This is what bothers me. Is this is what the world's doing? Playing video. Like, what do you do in this video game? You dress up your guy. You choose what shorts and shoes and accessories he has on. It's like people are literally sitting in front of a screen, getting fatter, doing this. A lot of them are teenagers. And here, I know with the 54, but the point I'm making is, I mean, if it was a different world, if it wasn't a technology-driven world, I mean, how many teenagers are out dressing up their character right now who could be otherwise probably be having more fun fucking some beautiful girl? And we live in this world where it's like, oh my God, Zach, that's so evil to say that. Are you encouraging out-of-wedlock sex? You know what? I am, because you know what? It's a better thing to be doing. It's healthier. And what the fuck is this? You have all these people in society just doing bullshit and fulfilling their days with bullshit and spending their free time on fucking bullshit. Like 8 million pre-orders to dress up some fucking guy, and what do you do? Go out and shoot more people? Like, that idea is not played out. Is like, is this where humanity's at? Sitting in front of screens, dressing up their characters, shooting people. I mean, what a fucking it's just such a bullshit ass world, man. Anyway, go ahead.
Dude, I totally fucking get it, and that's why I'm trying to show you this quick, so maybe somebody watching this playing the game can see. So you get these shorts right away, and they're the only fucking clothes that have a number on them, and it's a big old 54 news, it says. So when I think of news, I either think of the TV or I think of the good news.
Oh, no, you're killing me with that. You're not catching the connection, man? It does say news on there. Cable 54, and they live. Cable 54, the enemy of the world. They live. That's the news network that's the evil that controls the minds of the world. Cable 54. He blows up Cable 54, and everybody comes out of the mind control at the end of They Live.
Holy shit. I didn't know that.
Well, you're not paying attention then. We talked about that about 100 times this year.
Well, I don't watch every single one of your videos, dude.
I know, but we talk about that all the time. They live, man. They live. Cable 54. There it is right here in the video game. 54
Cool.
News.
Well, that's another one to add right with it here. But so they picked them to be called athletic shorts, and the Jesuit order match in 3 out of 4 ciphers.
That's funny.
That's all I got for
That's
you.
funny. All right, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Talk to you later, man.
See ya. Yeah, you just think it. This is why I talk about the worthless fucking fertilizer. Imagine the fucking loser, the fat fucking slob that'll never fuck anything in his life because he's such a disgrace that sits there and plays video games and hops on one of my videos and like, haha, conspiracy theorist losers. I wish I could reach through his fucking TV with that pistol and do what needs to be done. What's up, Milwaukee?
Hey, Zach. Hey, man, I hope I sent it to the right P.O. box, but I sent you a homemade candle that I made. I heard you. I love your rants, man. I like working out to your rants. It actually pumps me up. You should sell your rants for like a workout music thing. Get some money out of that. But hey, I decoded Songbird. I put it on my channel. The 56s in that movie is hilarious because this movie's supposed to take place in 2022. You know, we were talking about the Year of the Tiger. In the first 56 seconds, they said that 56% of the world died from COVID-23.
The mockery.
I'm just like, Mike.
The mockery, man.
And then, I can't remember the guy, the governor. It's supposed to take place on March 20th. I believe the governor of California on March 20th said the 56 thing.
Yeah, it was. Newsom, and his name equals 56. Gavin Newsom, Jesuit educated. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Is the 112 P.O. box? Because I didn't send it to that one. I sent it to the other one. Is that fine?
You sent what to a P.O. box? What?
Your P.O. box. I think you had like 2 of them.
I only have one. There's one with an additional street address. It goes to the same building. It's just if you have a big thing, like a big box, then you send it to the one address. If it's just a letter or something small, it just goes to the simple one that's P.O. Box 1967, Yakima, Washington 98907. There's one that has the street address, and you just have to add that street address if it's a box, like a big thing.
Oh, damn. Well, I don't know. The candle.
It'll go if you send it to either one. It'll show up at my box. If it's a small thing and you send it to the other address, it'll still come there. It's just you don't need to write out that extra stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, man, that's about it. If you want to see it on my channel, I know you're busy, so. But I did a whole decode on the whole movie as it was going.
Okay. Well, I look forward to that. Thank you.
Yep, have a good one.
All right, yeah, take care. All right, you guys, I went way over. I said I was going to get off at 3:30. It's after 4. Here, just to tell you guys one more real story from when I was down in Louisiana. The most... out of all the different things we did in Louisiana, one of the things we tried to do was go to the basketball stadium where the Charlotte... What do they call them? No, Charlotte. New Orleans Pelicans with Zion Williamson. So... We went to the basketball stadium, and it was Jeremy White and I, the very humble, much more mature, and he's younger than me too, man. Jeremy White's a much better person than me. Shout out to Jeremy White, and he is a Christian. But him and I went to the stadium together to wake up people to the Zion Williamson ritual, how Zion Williamson was drafted on the he wasn't drafted, but it was the Zion Williamson sweepstakes on May 14th, the 71-year anniversary of Zionist Israel. And we had these big printouts, and it was funny. We were talking to people, and we had these big signs, and people were like, can we record? I mean, people were interested at first, because we got to the game before they opened the doors, right? So while everyone's lined up outside the doors, so we had all these people that were interested and recording, and then some drunk guy came over from behind us, not exactly to the group of people we were really talking to in front of us, but this guy comes from the side, and he's like, hey man, shut the fuck up, you're a Knicks fan. And I was like, no. He's like, you're mad that the Knicks didn't draft Zion. I was like, no, not at all, man. He was drunk, right? And he just kept going on about this bullshit. He's like, hey, man, I'm paying big money to be here. I want you to get the fuck out of here. Just some drunk asshole, right? But then the security came over, and then the police came, And we tried to move for a second, but then the police came again, and then they told us we had to go off campus, right? We couldn't be on the ground, the sidewalk, or anything that was owned by the New Orleans Pelicans. So they told us we had to go across the street. So the problem with across the street was there's no gathered people there. I'm thinking back, Jeremy probably remembers this. There was a drunk guy who'd stolen a bunch of liquor from the local liquor store, and he was trying to sell us fifths for like $5 a bottle. And I was like, dude, $5, you should charge more. He's like, oh, it's easy to steal. I do it all the time. And he's like, by the way, if you need a blowjob, there's a girl down the street for $20. And I got to be honest, Jeremy is the Christian. I think he was kind of intrigued by the $20 blowjobs. Sorry, Jeremy, if you're out there. That's not true. I made that up. I got to protect Jeremy's character, but anyway, Jesus would forgive him. But anyway, we had to go to this scene, and all that was there was the drunk guy selling the fifths that he just stole for $5, and everybody else was coming by. What I like about New Orleans is you can just walk around outside with liquor. They have here you get a ticket for that, open bottle ticket. But anyway, everyone down there is walking down in a hurry with their beer out or their whatever, trying to get to the stadium to watch the game. Once we were off the campus, nobody wanted to listen to us, right? Nobody, just walking by us, making comments. Well, if I lost my shit at any moment while I was down there, it was because we were standing out there where all the traffic's coming through, holding up the signs, just trying to get people to engage with us. And one guy came with his phone and was like snickering. And just, if we were in the Wild West, he wouldn't have made it past that moment. I would have just shot him dead on the spot. But anyway, what really pissed me off is this fat fucking slob walked by us, right? And I saw the way they were looking at us when they walked by. But then when they got about 30 or 40 feet past us, then he shouted back, "You guys are fucking crazy losers." And I saw exactly who it was, and I looked at him, and I said something like, "Shut up, you fat fucking piece of shit pussy." Just like loud, something like that. And you should have seen him. He turned around and started walking faster. And Jeremy actually thought it was funny, but who else had come and met up with us was Cade. Shout out to Cade. Cade was the first person who came in. He met up with me when I was in Baton Rouge. Shout out to Cade. I hope Cade's doing all right. Cade's got to learn to grow thicker skin too, But Cade did not like that. I could tell that. I could tell it made him uncomfortable the way I yelled at this fat, worthless piece of shit. And he truly was. And again, you guys, I wish I lived in a different world because I would have come home with at least 2 sets of ears and a nose for my collection set from Louisiana. I would have said I lopped off these 2 sorry fucks who were going to the Zion Williamson rigged basketball game. Trust me, no loss there. All they're doing is supporting these billionaire crooks that rip off everybody at their rigged fucking entertainment. But God, this fat, sorry piece of shit, 40 feet away like a fucking pussy, yells back that we're crazy conspiracy theorists or whatever the fuck he said. I mean, I would have loved to chase that fat fuck down. I guarantee I can run 10 times faster than him and just beat his ass into the ground. I'm telling you. See, Christianity teaches that this is wrong. Vengeance is wrong. Violence is wrong. Bullshit. What's wrong is letting sorry-ass pieces of shit walk this earth and fuck up the whole place. Nobody needs the fat fucking coward slob to talk shit. Think about who I am. I'm the guy taking my own fucking life to travel down to this state to show how all these people got murked for their rigged sports championship. And here's this fat slob who has the chance to learn about it and be part of the solution. But what's this worthless fat fuck say? Something that should have me teeing off. You know what I mean? So... anyway, shout out to Jeremy White, because Jeremy White laughed in the moment. He thought it was funny. I still remember. But I saw Cade, too, and Cade had this look on his face like, holy fuck, should I be out here with Zach? Zach might be fucking crazy. I'll tell you what, I'm not crazy, but man, I will fuck some people up if the chance is ever given who are opposed to the truth, man. I'm so sick of fucking people, man. I'm so sick of fat fucks like that who talk shit, cowards, just fucking pathetic people. And, yeah, it's just, I mean, do you know how dumb you gotta be to just dismiss this? Zion Williamson, his fucking name, first of all, which is, here. And again, this is how you realize that it's a setup for the Jews and who really controls it. It's the Jesuits. It's not the Jews, even though they got their Jewish puppet that looks like he's from planet Mars, Adam Silver. But look at this. Look at Zion Williamson's name. You see his name, 191 and 187, and 79, exactly like Society of Jesus. And what day is his birthday? the 187th day of the year, July 6th. And they've done a bunch of riddles with all these numbers with him. By the way, Pelicans, well, here, let me spell it right. Pelicans is 79. New Orleans Pelicans is 79. Again, just like Zion Williamson, just like Society of Jesus. But Zion Williamson's another one of these perfectly named, perfectly birthed lab creatures, not even a real human being. They're not real human beings because they're fucking created to be something like a athletic specimen. That's bullshit. We shouldn't live in a because think about what that is to us. Think about what that is to someone like me as a child. Someone who's living in the American dream illusion that if you go out and work hard and excel and practice, you can get to the grand stage. Well, that's not true. Because the grand stage has already been planned for. They're fucking growing people in the lab to fill that position that you think as a child that you can work to achieve if you work hard enough and compete hard enough. The whole world is a lie from the authority, and it's so advanced at this day and age, they're fucking growing human beings and naming them and birthing them accordingly so they can fit these perfect roles, whether it's a sports figure or a nightly news anchor or a politician. Because that's exactly what it is. Zion Williamson's name is the exact same as Society of Jesus. And you start to look, again, all of college basketball is all Catholic and Jesuit, every last fucking ritual. So, again, you guys, the real knowledge of gematria allows you to really see through the bullshit, but people should still see it. I mean, anyone who watched ESPN that day, the day of the Zion Williamson sweepstakes, which was May 14th, 2019, Israel's 71st birthday. The Talmud equals 71, but Catholics also 71. Notice Catholics 71 and 145, like Israel's birthday is 14/5, the big contested holy site that divides the world's Temple Mount, which is 46, like Catholic, like religion. Anyway, guys, I said enough. Just wanted to close out with one last story. Hope it warmed your soul. And if you want to do me a favor, share that video with people of Joe Biden getting the shot at exactly 3:22. You can mute the whole video if people don't appreciate my whatever that voice was. But don't forget that one of the main institutions behind this whole agenda is also the one that refers to itself as the Johns Hopkins University 322, founded by the Skull and Bones member Skull and Bones 322. But I mean, that video that I captured there in real time, and I just knew that he was going to get the shot at 3:22, and that's what I was going to make the point about. But I couldn't believe it when they were doing it like right at the exact second it turned to 3:22. I was like, how is it so perfect, man? This authority, they're all about the number games. So anyway, we'll leave it there, you guys. Appreciate everyone who tuned in. If you can hit the like, if you can share, if you can subscribe. But don't, especially you younger people, don't believe and think just like I do. Don't ever do that. Don't do that. Question everything I say. Go out and prove and see if it's true. See if it resonates with you. And don't listen to any of these other people on YouTube that tell you exactly what their spirituality is and how that's all facts, because that's all bullshit too. And young Pharaoh, man, it's been a month and a half and you haven't responded. You say you can beat anybody in a debate. All you young Pharaoh supporters, understand that guy's a fucking fraud and he's looking more and more like a Jesuit agent every day. And if you're out there, young Pharaoh, let's debate. Let's clean you up, buddy. It's going to be game over. All right, Truth Seeker, until next time.